Well, we can't play an open because the audio vault's down.
Right. 560 WQAM presents the Neil Rogers Show. To get in touch, talk. Call 560.
Are you serious?
Wait, I got to play some background music over here.
The phone line for the fax machine is down. I wonder if even these other phone lines are working. Let's see. Oh yeah, at least those lines are working okay.
To fax, Neil. Don't bother. That's not working either.
Yeah, that's right. I just got you saying that. The fax ain't working. The audio vault's not working. Everything's working on this end, though.
It's Friday, you bastard.
Pushing the shorty butt up. 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 Cheney said lay off the ventilators. He brought investigations to an end. They were getting too close to the towel-headed bodies down in Texas for a barbecue again. With George and Pop pushing the shorty butt up. 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 If they don't impeach this corporate retard, 3,000 lives will never be avenged. Cause you brainwashed monkeys are so stupid, you'll put them back in office again.
Oh my God.
Pushing the shorty butt up. 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 This is the ARP. Pushing the shorty butt up. Pushing the shorty butt up. Pushing the shorty butt up. Pushing the shorty butt up.
Exactly. It's 11 o'clock at 560 WQAM. It's working on this end, baby. Everything's working up here. And down there, it's business as usual. Well, look at those phones, man. Your thoughts, your take, as Kerry whips Bush's ass last night. And don't get too swayed by a whole bunch of things. First of all, CNN and Gallup, even Bill Schneider admitted this morning that their poll results, not on the online thing, but on the interviews that they did, it was mostly people who are Bush supporters that they interviewed. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Oh, you're making that up.
Well, only two.
Say that.
Huh?
He didn't say that, even though I watched the same thing that you did and heard it at the same time.
Yeah, he did. But if you went online like an hour after the debate last night, we would have had it online out too for you. I would have changed the poll last night, but Eric was out carousing or something until who the hell knows what he's doing. He's got problems.
Whoring.
But at any rate, on MSNBC it was like 71 to 29% Kerry won the debate. I mean, you had like an articulate, knowledgeable, intelligent human being against doofus, against Alfred E. Newman is what it boiled down to, who kept making all these facial gestures. Oh, there's that thing is ringing again. Are you faxing me something again?
I'm making an attempt.
Why do you keep doing that? You know it's not going to work. All you do is make a lot of noise.
Right?
Pronto. Buongiorno. Anyway, WQAM, hello.
Neil.
Debate line, yes.
All right, excellent. You really think Kerry won last night? He's a debater. Bush is a decision maker. He's the one that's going to lead our country to do the right things, man. Yeah. John Kerry is hindsight, bro.
Well, let me ask you this, bro. How come 71% of the people said that they thought Kerry won the poll?
When's the last time you trusted the American people, man?
Yeah, right, Yeah, I trust you, man. I don't trust the American people. I trust you, you moron. How could anybody be so stupid to watch that last night and think that Bush won? I mean, even if he thought it was a draw, which it wasn't even close. Yeah, he's going to give us the leadership to take us into the new,
Kerry's
to take us to hell in a handbasket. You shut up down there, okay? You got problems to work on. Get your crap together down there.
Oh, yeah.
What an embarrassment. What a disgrace that studio is. That equipment. That garbage. Well, that was a good first call. WQAM, hello.
Hey, I got two questions. The evil leader in Mad Max, what was his name? The guy that wore the mask?
Humongous.
Yeah. His name was Humongous?
Yes.
And what's the second question?
And the second one is, what were they singing? Pushing the Saudis by what?
Something about pushing the Saudis closer to the bar. In other words, move your stool a little closer to the bar. WQAM, hello.
Kerry's a liar.
Okay, good. WQAM, hello.
Haven't heard from him in a while.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, we did.
Hey, I saw Fahrenheit 9/11 yesterday.
You what?
I saw Fahrenheit 9/11.
Yes.
But I'm still voting for Bush, buddy. Sorry.
Okay, great. Well, we're real happy. Oh, yeah. This is just like the freepin that's going on the MSNBC poll. It was 71 to 29% last night, and now all of a sudden 62 to 38% is the freerepublic.com. Let's freep this poll. That really is going to change a lot of things, right? The only polls you needed to look at online last night were, although even now, CNN's got almost 500,000 votes on theirs. It's Kerry, who won the debate? Kerry 72%, George W 21, and a tie 7%. That's real close, isn't it? Yeah. Here's our poll result from yesterday, and we took it off there early this morning, even though I wanted to do it about 10:30 last night. But Eric was nowhere to be found because he's busy. Got a new life, evidently. What do you miss most about the 70s? 1,561 votes when I printed this baby out this morning. Sex with total strangers, 340.
All right.
The music, 246. The Great Dolphin Years, 147. Muscle, and by the way, all the Bush people, you can line up like the next 50,000 calls. It ain't going to change anything, okay? He's doomed now. America got a chance to see Alfred E. Newman, the smirking chimp, at his absolute perfect best last night. That's as good as it gets. The music, 246. The Great Dolphin Years, 147. All for those years. By the way, I'm assuming we Schmidt canned those 2 breaks and I'm moving the live spot to the second break?
Yeah, we can only assume.
Okay. Muscle Cars, 133. They missed those. Gay Still in the Closet, 121. Get back in there now, especially you, Maya. Miniskirts, 103. Wasn't Born Yet, 103. Quaaludes, 99. How about 99 Quaaludes?
All right, I'll take them.
Good Star Wars films, 82. Underline the good part. All in the Family, 65. TV Cop Show, 63. Moderate Republicans, 42. You know, like Jacob Javits, Nelson Rockefeller, even Richard Nixon, even Eisenhower. Tight jeans, 13. And fashion, 4. The bell-bottom pants, the mutton chop haircuts, all that other crap, those silly things. Brigitte Nielsen. She's nothing silly about Brigitte Nielsen. Brigitte is on our website. She's behind a beaded curtain today. She was born July 15th, 1963. That's a fine photo, by the way.
Indeed.
And she was born in Rodov, Denmark. Did you know she was Danish?
Say what?
I said, would you like a Danish? Oh, it's a little late in the morning.
All right, sweet.
Actress, model, presenter, and singer. Brigitte Nielsen, born in Denmark. Let's see. She was in Doomsday, Hostile Environment. Oh, that must be about QAM. Paparazzi. She's Too Tall. Fantagiro 5. What is that?
You're a what?
Yeah, Fagario, Snowboard Academy, Compelling Evidence, Galaxis, Codename Silencer, Fantagiro 4. That's a Danish thing. Chain Heat 2, The Double Kid, Mission of Justice, a whole bunch of stuff. Murder by Moonlight, Murder by Cock Moonlight, Domino, Fats Domino, Bye Bye Baby, Beverly Hill Cop 2, Cobra, and Red Sonja. She's been a whole bunch of stuff. Brigitte Nielsen. Everybody knows Brigitte, right?
See.
Sure, who don't know that? Okay, here's the deal. Let's see. We got 1.5 million votes on the MSNBC poll, which is being freaked heavily, but nevertheless, in spite of that, who won the debate? Kerry 62%, Bush 38%. And I love that response. Oh, well, don't ever trust the judgment of the American people. Right. Well, that must have been what they were thinking back in 2000 when Gore won the election. Well, that's only the American people. What do they know? We'll do our own thing.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, that was special. I'll tell you that right now. Okay, today's poll, we got it up there on our own website now, which it should have been up there last night, because right after the debate it would have been a little more, a little more meaningful, a little more meaty. What's your take on the first presidential debate? That's our poll today and over the weekend. Kerry won big, which is the obvious answer. It wasn't even a contest, and I tried to be as objective as possible, but I was shocked and amazed, almost felt sorry for the Bushmeister. He was like a deer just totally lost in the headlights, trying to find his way off the highway. Man, he didn't know whether to cry or wind his watch. Sorry, Mike. Kerry won big, 328, 58.1%. Kerry by a bit, 71, 12.5%. You add those together, you got 70.6%, which is pretty interesting because it's very close to the CNN thing there, although he did even better there. The format made it useless, 42, 7.4%. That's bullcrap. The format which we thought... See, the problem with those people that voted that, we thought the format was going to prevent any kind of, meaningful exchange, and it didn't. It worked out just fine. Nice job, Jim Lara.
Yes, indeed.
And when he learns to pronounce his name right, we'll like him even better, Jim Lara. I didn't watch 37. Only 6.5% of this astute audience didn't watch, which means that we're supposed to believe that 93.5% of this audience watched the debate in Laurel Gables, Florida last night on the campus of the prestigious University of Miami, which, by the way, there were a hell of a lot of Kerry people there. I was shocked. A lot of students for Kerry. I always told you that there was hope for U of M. We didn't think it would happen in our lifetime, but you never know. Those students must have been shipped in from someplace else.
Yeah, probably haters.
No, seriously, they must have come in from out of town.
Beantown.
Or maybe Donna Shalali is whipping them up to a frenzy there, or something like that. Maybe she finally grew up here. Anyway, so that was the result on our poll. Did I read the result? I think I interrupted myself.
Maybe you did, maybe you didn't.
I didn't watch 38, 6.4%. They both suck 25, 4.2%. Bush won big, 24, 4%. Say Bush won it big, and of course I'm sure that those people are very, very objective. I don't give a Schmidt one way or the other, 14, 2.3%. No matter what the poll question would be, that's the same 2.3% that always say, I don't give a Schmidt. About anything. Because basically what they're trying, screaming desperately to get the message out.
I have no line.
That's what they're trying to say. A draw, 14, 2.3%, which would be one of the most generous. I mean, how could you even dream of saying that? And Bush by a bit, by a whisker, 12, 2%. So the people would say Bush won big or a bit, 6% you had them together, and the ones you had together for Kerry, 71.1% now, out of 501 vote. 591. Boy, them votes are pouring in there fast now. You realize that?
Yeah. I wonder
now
what
that
the
we're number one
are
actually
get
on the
us.
air, and number two now that Eric finally woke up and got off his lazy fat ass. Jimmy Breslin, a leader, showed up. His name was Kerry. That's what Jimmy writes today in Newsday. I might just read a whole bunch of these things today, but we certainly are going to get a lot more of these great calls on. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Did you notice last night, once Kerry used a word that had more than two syllables, Bush couldn't even pronounce it? Nuclear proliferation.
Nuclear, man. He said that again last night a couple of
because
times.
Because he couldn't even pronounce it.
Nuclear. Okay, thank you. I went nuclear just seeing him, as a matter of fact. It was embarrassing. And anybody out there who really believes that no matter how articulate how they try to articulate the position, that they're going to peddle this doofus to us. If he wins, he wins, and heaven help you folks, because I'm north of the border most of the time anyway. But good luck to you. I mean, if that's what you can relate to, a man who's dumber than sawdust and a box of rocks.
You nailed it. That's what they can relate to.
Well, like I said, that's why he does so well, because he can relate. Although the good thing that Kerry did last night, among many other things, is he didn't talk down to people. He didn't ramble on.
Right.
He was well within the time limit, the 90 seconds and the 2 minutes, and the red light was never there flashing like, get it over with, because he's supposedly long-winded and everything. He did a magnificent job within the constraints of the format, and he did just fine. He did great.
He stood up straight.
He used that great line about, this president invading Iraq after we were attacked by Osama bin Laden, we attacked Saddam Hussein, would be like FDR attacking Mexico after the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. I know that's an old line, but it's a very good one, and it's right on target. Doesn't make any sense. And this business about, we were attacked. Yeah, but we weren't attacked by Saddam Hussein or Iraq. And, of course, that 40% of America who's still so stupid that they believe that, even though they're saying, there's no truth to that. Well, yeah, but he did something. He was dangerous. He is a bad man. Good God Almighty. Anyway, Jimmy Breslin writes, George Bush reiterated time and again last night that it was hard work to run this government. It was hard work to lead a country out of tyranny into democracy. It was hard work to read casualty reports. The war was hard work, and he made it plain that talking with somebody about his record as president was the grueling hardest work you could want. He showed for all to see what a minor mind he goes around with. I looked at this guy Bush last night and thought about young people dying in Iraq because of him. And there will be more and more because he's a man sitting with a car full of people on the train tracks and he doesn't know enough to get off with the train coming. Watch the ages of the dead night after night, day after day. 21, 23, 19, 25. Anybody responsible for getting people this young killed is a national menace. Dumb people always are. And don't tell me he's not dumb. Yes, he was matched against an absolutely first-rate mind last night, but he could have done a little better at covering his helplessness than flusters of college boy anger. He whined and brayed about consistency. He used that word so he could underline his famous flip-flop attacks on John Kerry. He said that by opposing the war in Iraq and the way it's going, Kerry was sending mixed messages, and they're harmful to our troops. I, Bush, never change. There were problems to this. One, Kerry cheated on him and turned a fine line. Don't confuse the war with the warriors. Then in the middle of Bush's reiteration of dusty phrase after dusty phrase, we should remain as we are, was Ralph Waldo Emerson's, a foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds adored by little statesmen. It was better than anything you're going to read from anybody from now to the end of the election, and you'll see that the Emerson quote will come alive whenever Bush opens his mouth and starts the same old lines George Bush writes in crayon. The other problem for Bush was that the president on the stage last night was John Kerry. He was strong, articulate. I make him as plain and understandable and yet as powerful as anybody we've had around for many years. I don't know where Kerry's been for all this time. He made a speech at NYU the other day that was strong, and I thought he was on the way. Then he disappeared again. It seemed like a campaign by George Bush of small, endless stupidities delivered in country boy shirt sleeves was going to win an election that could end this country as we know it. If you have 4 more years of John Ashcroft and a Supreme Court backing him up, you watch the end of rights as you were raised to believe in. That was the fear at the start of the night. Then they opened the night with John Kerry talking. He was strong, passionate, sending a fine intellect out into the night. And then when he got through, he looked like a guy who could kill somebody if he had to for the country again. And that wimp next to him looked like he would again flee to the dentist. Jimmy Breslin in Newsday today. Nice going, Jimmy. You go, boy.
The Howard Stern Show. Neil Rogers, mornings and middays. And sports around the clock. 560 WQAM.
No.
How dare they drag the good name of the United States of America through the mud of Saddam Hussein's torture prison?
Tonight on HBO, it's The Sopranos, starring Osama bin Laden.
Yo, Osama, why don't you come over here and let me punch you in the face? You broke my nose! That's too bad, Osama. My condolences.
I'm really sorry about that, Osama.
Oh,
can I do that?
Oh, that hurt!
That's a real shame, Osama.
Oh!
Did I just punch you in the jaw?
Yes!
I'm so sorry!
Oh, that hurt!
Did I give you a bloody nose? Here, let me fix it with this frying pan!
The Sopranos, starring Osama bin Laden.
Yo, Osama, your mama!
Bada bing.
I got a good idea. Let's send him to
Abu Ghraib.
1117 at 560. Now, I'm assuming that this fax that I just got came from a different fax machine in the building.
Is it about the promotional events?
Right, must have come from me.
Yes, indeed, it did.
Well, see, if you get any faxes that are worth reading, I got a great idea. I know it's... You could actually read them down there. How do you like that? Since you're having all these technical difficulties as usual there. With
Indeed,
the
I could, like
lines
this one right here, for example.
That says...
The poll on FoxNews.com shows that Bush won the debate. Perhaps you could point this out to your audience so that they could go and vote, says Arthur.
Oh, so we can feed their poll? See, we don't play silly games like that, okay? Well, I mean, what difference does it make? In addition to which, I read that Fox wasn't even taking a poll. I guess they were embarrassed into finally taking one. Well, what would you expect? And again, keep in mind, the poll that they're announcing on CNN, which is the Gallup CNN USA Today poll, and again, underline the Gallup part, because they're the ones that pick the pollees. That's showing like Bush Kerry won 53 to 37%. But as Bill Schneider pointed out, I want to keep reiterating to you that those were mostly almost all people that were Bush supporters. So what kind of a poll is that? As Gallup continues oversampling Republicans over and over again. Oh, look at this. Bush is 6 points ahead now. Well, what the hell does that mean? Well, what does that prove?
He's better and he's good.
Whereas when you go online and you see about 500,000 votes on there instead of a bunch of pre-picked stooges that they're using as a so-called poll, 456,000 votes on CNN Online, which they can't pick and choose on that. Kerry 72, Bush 21, and a tie 7%. I mean, not even close. And if you watched it, of course, there was no contest. Bush was incoherent. He was like fumbling and bumbling and always with that gawkish look of dismay and rolling his eyes and squinting. Just an embarrassing performance. He was the ultimate smirking chimp right there in front of the whole world last night. Hey, join QM tonight at 7 to 9 p.m. at the Doral Ale House for prizes and specials on Coors Light. And tomorrow, 11 to 1, Little George is going to be Bill Seidel's Mitsubishi and Davie because he needs the money desperately at 5395 South University Drive. That's in Davie. Stop by to win prizes. Enjoy free food from Atlantic City Subs. Get there early because the staff there, they like to hop up the free food before you folks get there. So get there early. Like it's going to be 11 to 1. Get there about 10:30 would be good, right? Yeah, 10.
About 30, man.
WQAM, hello, poll line.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
I got some inside stuff for you.
Yeah, I'll bet.
I was working with MSNBC all week on all the shows over there on the stage. And I'll make a long story short. Last night, Ralph Nader comes trouncing up on our stage. And the president of MSNBC told him to buzz off. He's not, I don't know how he said it, but basically he told him to turn around and march back down the stairs because he's not on his show. Because he's not part of the story.
Right.
So basically, he sent Nader packing. But it was funny because I was working and Pat Buchanan comes up and I had to put all the microphones on him and stuff. And the guy was the nicest guy in the world, but I can think of so many years that I was throwing stuff at the TV when I heard the guy talk.
Yeah. Well, now he's starting to become pretty mellow compared to what we got.
Yeah, it was an interesting week, and yes, I was even surprised by all the little rich kids. And how they might actually have a brain of their own and figure it out.
Isn't that amazing? Because UM has always had the reputation of being spoiled rich kids and suntan you and all of this and very right wing, and just a tremendous amount of Kerry support on that campus.
There was a lot, and there's a lot of mixed. They have a big mixed, diverse culture, a diverse campus there. So I think that had a lot to play into it. But you had a poll question yesterday, and I wanted to chime in. Oh, the 70s.
What you miss about the 70s most?
Yeah, jumping up and down naked with my next-door neighbor when I was like 6 years old. I miss that.
All right. Well, give it a try today, okay? Bring back some memories. Thanks.
Yeah, it was a good point. That was a lot of fun.
That was good. See, I told you, man, you have little faith. You take 40, 50,000 calls and you get a good one like that sooner or later. You see it?
Yeah, law of averages.
That's the way it works in this business. 5670560. We might just take 80 billion calls between now and 2, okay, and get our own pool set up. And speaking of setup, that's what we got there in the beginning.
Oh, call up Rogers and tell him that Bush won. And
like we're really impressed by that, okay? I saw it, I heard it with my own 5 eyes.
I believe in being strong and resolute and determined. And I will hunt down and kill the terrorists wherever they are.
Kill a lot.
But we also have to be smart, Jim. And smart means not diverting your attention from the real war on terror in Afghanistan against Osama bin Laden and taking it off to Iraq, where the 9/11 Commission confirms there was no connection to 9/11 itself in Saddam Hussein, and where the reason for going to war was weapons of mass destruction, not the removal of Saddam Hussein. This president has made, I regret to say, a colossal error of judgment.
Absolutely.
And judgment is what we look for in the President of the United States of America. I'm proud that important military figures are supporting me in this race. Former Chairman, Joint Chiefs of Staff, John Kashvili. Just yesterday, General Eisenhower's son, General John Eisenhower, endorsed me. General Admiral William Crowell. General Tony McPeak, who ran the Air Force War so effectively for his father. All believe I would make a stronger commander-in-chief. And they believe it because they know I would not take my eye off of the goal, Osama bin Laden. Unfortunately, he escaped in the mountains of Tora Bora. We had him surrounded. But we didn't use American forces, the best trained in the world, to go kill him. The president relied on Afghan warlords, and he outsourced that job, too. That's wrong.
Amen. Well said there, John. You go, boy.
oh!
How come they haven't been saying these things the last several weeks? I'm just wondering. Well, better late than never, I guess, and hopefully not too late. I mean, all of the things that we've been screaming about on the show, all these articles that we've read from people with an IQ larger than their thumbnail, and, they got sucked into that whole thing about Canis Masmacho in Vietnam, and who was the draft dodger, and who really got, how much did he bleed, and were those medals, all of that crap. They wasted about 2 months of that crap on a war that was going on 30 years ago, and nobody cares about that now.
About 30, man.
Okay? Man. Oh, and speaking of that, First Blood, the Kerry and TV debate, speaking of blood, by Julian Borger in Miami for The Guardian. I got some stuff. But we do want to get thousands of calls on today, don't we? And then C-SPAN can come in and listen to the intelligent calls we get, like that.
Hi.
To Ron. In fact, maybe you can give C-SPAN Ron's address, and they can go set up and do a show right in his living room.
I'll try.
Wouldn't that be great? That would be strong. Here's the typical South Floridian right there. Hi. And maybe they can pop him a few Prozacs while he's on. Julian Borger writes, John Kerry regained the initiative in the U.S. presidential race last night with a forceful performance in his first debate with George Bush, occasionally leaving the president scowling at a loss for words. Instant response polls by 3 major TV networks all showed that a large majority of their viewers thought the challenger had won the 90-minute verbal contest at the University of Miami, the first of 3 debates in the last month of the campaign. Perhaps even more seriously for President Bush, the networks ignored broadcasting guidelines agreed beforehand and showed both candidates at the same time. On several occasions, Mr. Bush could be seen sour-faced and nervous in reaction to some of Mr. Kerry's remarks. Similar cutaway shots of Al Gore in the first presidential debate 4 years ago sapped his campaign and helped put Mr. Bush into office. That was all that sighing he was doing. Kept saying, I'm signing over here. After last night's debate, senior Democrats made it clear they would make maximum use of the pictures of a disgruntled President Bush. What you saw was a president who was annoyed, angry, and aloof. He clearly didn't want to be there, and he was slouched over his podium, said Terry McAuliffe, the Democratic Party chairman, in an interview in Spin Alley, University basketball court, where partisans of each side strove frenetically to influence media coverage of the event. Mr. McAuliffe's Republican counterpart, Ed Gillespie, laughed off the description, saying, I don't know what Terry thought he saw, but the president was obviously very engaged and very clear about his policies. Oh, I didn't know he was engaged. What's her name now, Laura? However, several conservative commentators awarded the encounter to Senator Kerry on points. Morton Kondracki, an outspoken hawk on Fox News, said he didn't think the president had dominated and argued that Kerry looked like a commander-in-chief. The Democratic challenger lived up to his reputation for hitting his best form in the closing stages of an election race, answering his critics by delivering a string of short declarative statements with relatively few of the verbal meanderings for which he's become famous on the campaign trail. He rejected Mr. Bush's central claim that Iraq was a central front in the global war on terror. Iraq was not even close to the center of the war on terror before the president invaded it, he said. As he's done in the past, the president took Mr. Kerry to task for inconsistency in criticizing the Iraqi invasion. He pointed out that the senator had voted to approve the use of force in 2002 and had declared Saddam's Iraq to be a grave threat. It was a threat. That's not the issue. The issue is what you do about it, Senator Kerry replied. The president said he was going to build a true coalition, exhaust the remedies of the UN, and go to war as a last resort. These words really have to have some meaning, and unfortunately, he did not go to war as a last resort. Throughout the debate, Mr. Kerry pounded the president for U.S. military's failure to capture Osama bin Laden at Tora Bora in Afghanistan and for diverting resources from the battle against al-Qaeda to Iraq. In return, Mr. Bush hit back repeatedly with the argument that Mr. Kerry's wavering position on the Iraq war and his description of the invasion as a diversion sent mixed messages to U.S. troops and allies. That was also the main message driven home by Bush aides afterwards in Spin Alley. Karl Rove, the president's chief political advisor, pointed to what he said was a new contradiction in the Kerry position. He said the war was a mistake, but he also said he wasn't asking American soldiers to die for a mistake, Mr. Rove said. Here's a guy who voted for war and then says it's the wrong war at the wrong time. How can you go to the Allies and ask them to go in there if you're saying it's the wrong war? Mr. Bush did appear to score some points, hitting back at Senator Kerry for a long-winded explanation of his position on preemptive strikes, in which the Democrats said he would only consider such an action if it passed a global test and gathered international support. The president said he didn't know what a global test was, but added, my attitude is you take preemptive action in order to protect the American people, then you act in order to make this country secure. But at other moments in the contest, Mr. Bush seemed to lose track of his point between sentences and seemed to struggle to fill his allotted time for each response. Challenged by Mr. Kerry for awarding tax cuts to wealthy Americans, while the money could have been used to improve America's counter-terrorist defenses, the president's reply was vague and hesitant. Of course we're doing everything we can to protect America. I wake up every morning thinking about how best to protect America. That's my job, Mr. Bush said. I work with Director Mueller of the FBI. Comes in my office when I'm in Washington every morning talking about how to protect us. There's a lot of really good people working hard to do so. It's hard work. He must have said that 5,000 times. It's such hard work, you know. And I love the fact that Kerry brought up the fact about the 35,000 hours of tapes, of audio tapes, which we had that story just yesterday, as a matter of fact, that the FBI hasn't bothered listening to. Audio tapes of al-Qaeda.
That's hard work.
In which they could be talking right in those tapes about the next planned attack and getting all the information specifically about what it is. Oh, but we're doing a hell of a job. It's hard work, you know. 28 past 11 at 560 WQM right now. Armstrong Ford Homestead wants to clear their lots and sell off all remaining 04s. Here are just some of the great deals waiting for you. An 04 F-150 pickup just $1 over invoice. New 04 Explorers just $1 over invoice. Rangers, Crowns, Crown Vics, Crowns, Tauruses, and Focuses all waiting for you. It's just $1 over invoice only at Armstrong Ford Homestead. Plus, Armstrong Ford offers more value with loyal customers. When you buy your Ford for Armstrong Ford, you'll get their exclusive Tires and Batteries for Life program. That's right, you get tires and batteries for life. Their value you get at Armstrong Ford doesn't stop there. Right now, you get a free Florida Sun Pass with any vehicle you buy, too. If you're pressed for time, Armstrong Ford knows time is worth a lot of money, so call them and shop right over the phone. Just call 305-247-5112 for one hell of a deal. 305-247-5112, and don't forget, they'll even deliver that new vehicle to you wherever you are. Armstrong Ford Homestead, they're locally owned and operated. They'll treat you just like family, and I'll guarantee you, I'll bet you like Miguel's life on it, you won't get a better deal anywhere on a Ford. No bait and switch, no phony deals. Armstrong Ford Homestead at 30725 South Dixie Highway, just 20 minutes south of the old 836. Check them on the web, ArmstrongCars.com, and then drive a little bit, save a lot on that new Ford at Armstrong Ford of Homestead.
Listening to Neil Rogers exclusively on 560 QAM.
Friday, you bastard.
Just give me that old-time religion. I'll kneel right down and pray. Remember not to do as we do, only as we say. Just give me that old-time religion. Our way is the best. And if you don't believe like we believe, we'll stone your ass to death. Falwell, Robertson, and Schuler don't wear comic hand shoes. They're living in a mansion with a big Rolls Royce, thanks to suckers just like you. be a good Christian man, you have to understand. Sex and knowledge are a sin, so keep your head deep in the sand. Just give me that old-time religion and Deuteronomy. Like when your woman is at that time of the month, you make her stand outside for a week. Just give me that old-time religion and the NRA, so I can shoot my loved ones in the eye and living the next day. I don't give a crap when it's alive, but abortion's wrong to me. A man should make love to his wife through a hole in the sheet. The Bible is the foundation of the holy Christian man. Despite the fact it was written by men who didn't wear pants, just give me that old-time religion with the Bible to obey and interpret it to validate my ignorance and hate. Just give me that old-time religion and write a check to Benny Hinn and anybody else who says guns are good and sex is a sin.
Rock solid.
24 till noon. What do you expect the condition of the world to be, you know? When you got a bunch of Getskis running around arguing about, my Bible says this crap that was written by a bunch of Neanderthals zillions of years ago who didn't know crap from Shinola. Oh, well, the Bible says this, and the ancient scriptures say that, and we just dusted off an old, how about that thing that washed up there in Texas yesterday? That, what was it? That whale? Jesus on a tripod or something.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
The crucifix.
Yeah, 764 votes already on our poll. Boy, we'd have probably 1,500 already if Eric wouldn't have been out at the Parliament House in Orlando last night. 764 votes. I wonder if his wife knows about that. What's your take on the first presidential debate last night? Kerry won big, 468, 61.2%. Kerry by a bit, by a smidgen, 93, 12.1%. How could anybody say that? Especially in our audience. I mean, what were you people watching? They must have gotten a fistful of them Quaaludes that they were jonesing for from the 70s.
Yeah? Any left over?
12.1%. I didn't watch 50, 6.5%. The format made it useless, 48, 6.2%, which is wrong. They both sucked, 30. 30 say that.
About 30, man.
3.9%. Bush won big. Oh, yeah.
That would just depose a tyrant.
Perfect. Nice timing.
Bush won big, about 30. 27, I'm sorry. A draw, 19. I don't give a Schmidt, 16. And Bush by a little bit, 13. So let's see. Bush wins by a little bit or a lot, 5.2%. Kerry wins by a little bit or a lot, 73.3%. See, we want to give you more choices. Now, the MSNBC poll, I just checked it again. They got 1,657,861 votes. And finally, the Freepers are starting to tail off in their impact. It's still Kerry 62%, Bush 38%. A very simple question. Who won the debate? How do you like that? And CNN's still about the same, about a quarter of a point off. 71.5% for Kerry, 21% for Bush, and 7% say a draw, a tie. Yeah. Okay, let's get 50,000 calls on here between now and 2 o'clock. What's that schedule look like? Well, I don't know. It said Jim Mandich at 2. The Mad Dog will be on again today.
All right.
He's had a pretty heavy-duty week of work. 4 o'clock, it's got Question Mark and the Mysterians. Hank's not on today because he's doing his ESPN horse race thing tomorrow.
It would be the Big O.
Now, we were having such a good day and such a good mood, and Kerry did so well last night, and now you hit me with a big... Oh, is all I can say. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Or just the big... Yeah. The big...
Oh, my God.
No, see, that one's two. The big...
Oh, my...
The big...
Oh, my...
The big...
Oh, my God.
No, the big... Anyway, he'll be on 4 to 6:30. I can't do it. It's too abrupt. And then Marlon's on deck at 6:30. Marlon's at the Phillies at 7:05. Blew that lead last night, unfortunately, so that they got to, what do they got to do?
You must have popped somebody on there, son.
I did?
We have a caller with us.
Oh, I see, on line 1. Well, you'll hang on. Eddie came to the baseball game. That must have happened by magic. QAM, hello. Hello.
Hey, Neil?
Yes, sir.
Good morning. I was working out there this week, and I was sitting, killing some time reading a book in the chair, and a student came up to me yesterday and said, do you know where the ABC or the NBC tent is? I said, no, I'm sorry, I don't. And he said, damn, the Budweiser beer truck is supposed to be there.
Yeah.
I said, these are our students.
Right. Hey, listen, going to college and drinking beer, man, that's what it's all about. You better get with it. Lighten up a little bit, or at least some Bud Light. Can you believe him knocking the students for drinking beer? That's the only thing I did. Meisterbrow, baby. Big half gallons at Michigan State. I don't want to keep rehashing that story.
Right. Everybody went through a Meisterbrow period.
It was so... Huh?
Everybody went through a Meisterbrow period.
Right.
It's what you could afford.
I don't know. I never had to buy any because I was the only one in my dorm with a fake ID, so I used to be walking with that big gym bag. I was probably one of the few kids in my dorm that never... Well, no, we were in the... West Shaw was all the jocks.
Yeah,
East Shaw was just a bunch of pansies. But I had a big sack, big gym bag, and I always was clanking and clinking as I came walking down the hall with big bottles of Meisterbrow. And they would buy me my beer because I had the fake ID. Nice going there, huh?
Very good. Nice scam. What a Jew.
Yeah, exactly.
Boy!
That's precisely correct. Anyway, this poll is looking pretty interesting. I think that at least we got some life back. When it looked just like when it looked like maybe the country was going to go to hell in a handbasket for another 4 years, and maybe the end of the world was coming for more than just Skeeter Davis. Right? Hey, the end of the world came for that bitch last week or the week before, a couple of weeks ago. She just up and died on us, poor Skeeter Davis. She even predicted it, and then lo and behold, there it was. 5670560, pound 560 on the Verizon singular wireless lines. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
All right.
Hey, listen, I want to say I'm ecstatic. I'm happy. I think John Kerry did a great job last night. He brought home the gold, and we got 2 more debates to go, and I think we're going to be close. It's going to be close.
We're going to be close.
One point is, did you hear that part when they were talking about character, and Bush said something about putting his daughters on a leash, and Kerry said something like, no, I don't do that. Did you catch that part?
Yeah, I caught it. Yeah, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It was really almost cute.
You're listening to Neil Rogers. Exclusive on 560 QAM.
It's the movie everyone is talking about. The controversial story of the final days of Donald Trump and his 12 apprentices. The Passion of the Donald.
People, tonight somebody is going to betray me.
The Passion of the Donald triumphantly chronicles the last board meeting.
Omarosa, you mean to tell me that you betrayed me for 30 pieces of silver? You could have easily gotten 3 times that much. Omarosa, you're fired.
The Passion of the Donald. He may be whipped, but he's never defeated.
I've always fantasized about you whipping me. But if you're going to work for me, you will have to hit a lot harder than that. Katrina, you're fired.
Don't miss the awe-inspiring conclusion of The Passion of the Donald, when one blessed apprentice finally nailed down the job.
Bill, Kwame, it's time to decide who goes up to the heavenly suite and who goes down to the street. But to find out, you'll have to endure something far more painful than crucifixion. A 2-hour live finale.
The Passion of the Donald. If you don't see it,
you're fired.
1147, man, am I sick and tired of him or what? And that was like 20 years ago already. Yeah. The Donald, man. His claim to fame is he's got a lot of money. Whoopee. I looked on Fox News. I was going to give you the results of their poll, but I don't find one. Now, what I had heard is that they didn't take one because they were so, they just kind of like threw in the towel and they were so depressed and all that. Huh?
They knew. They saw the same thing.
So if anybody knows where to find that, it's certainly not on their website. At any rate, here's the facts from Chip. Now, I'm assuming you're having somebody send me these?
Me. I ran over to the other end of the building, and if I sound a little winded, that's why.
Isn't that short and white of you?
Indeed.
It says, I was enormously impressed with Kerry and kept screaming at the TV at that chimp son of a Bush every time he repeated himself over and over again about Kerry changing his mind. It's hard work to come up with something more original. Hard work. How many times did we hear that, like every 5 minutes?
About 30, man.
Hard work being president. Hard work. And we're working hard. We're hard working every morning now. We're worried about keeping the American people safe. What was he didn't have any response to that business about the 35,000 hours of non-translated tapes of Al-Qaeda. And the fact that who the hell knows what's in there. He meets with Robert Mueller every day and he likes his spaghetti. Here are the Newsday poll results. Which candidate was better on the issues? Kerry 80.1%, Bush 19.9%. Newsday. Of course, that's all them Long Island Jews, in New York. That would be the excuse. They're always going to have some excuse. Kerry, let's see, which candidate's had the best plan for fighting terrorism? Kerry, 78.6%, Bush, 21.4%. Which candidate will do the better job of dealing with the situation in Iraq? Kerry, 78.9%, Bush, 21.1%. Sorry for all these numbers, too bad. Which candidate came across as the better leader? Kerry, 79.3%, Bush, 20.7%. Which candidate was most credible? Kerry 79.1% and Bush 20.9%. And regardless of your thoughts about the issues, which candidate do you think performed better during the debate? Here's the ultimate. I mean, that's the, who won the debate. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Kerry 83.4% and Bush 16.6%. How do you like that? Even more lopsided than on our poll, which our poll is a little bizarre to me. I don't get it.
That's from that Commie Rag Newsweek or whatever.
Oh, yeah, right. Anyway, another defeat for El Presidente. Boy, he's having a rough week. The Republican-controlled House emphatically defeated a constitutional amendment banning gay marriage yesterday, the latest in a string of conservative pet causes pushed to a vote by GOP leaders in the run-up to Election Day. The vote was 227 to 186, far short of the two-thirds needed for approval on a measure that President Bush has backed, but the Senate had previously rejected anyway. How do you like that? Far short of the two-thirds needed. God created Adam and Eve. He didn't create Adam and Steve. That's mighty original, said Representative Roscoe Bartlett, Republican of Maryland, on behalf of a measure that supporters said was designed to protect an institution as old as civilization itself. Well, guess what? So is faggery. How do you like that? Oh, well. President Bush earlier this year asked Congress to vote on the amendment, and Democrats contended that in complying, Republicans were motivated by election year politics. How perspicacious on their part. Representative Steny Hoyer of Maryland, the Democratic whip, accused GOP leaders of raw political cynicism and said they hoped to create the fodder for a demagogic political ad. Whatever the motivation, there was no disagreement that the amendment lacked a two-thirds majority needed to pass, just as it failed by a lopsided, humongous margin in the Senate earlier this year. It goes on and on and on. Another loss for the right wing, the ultimate spewing their bigotry and their hate. Well, the Bible says, and he created Adam and Eve. First of all, anybody who believes the story of Adam and Eve, that person needs to be put in a straitjacket in a rubber room. We need to be separated from those people so we can protect ourselves. You see, the one thing you'll notice that never comes up again about the evildoers and about how they're out to kill us just anywhere in the world is we're talking religious fanaticism, and religious fanatics are all crazy, no matter which stripe, which Bible, which BS. They're all crazy. They're all dangerous. And they're all ready to kill you in the name of Allah, in the name of God, in the name of Jehovah, Joseph Smith, Donnie and Marie, anybody. All of these things.
All of these things.
5670560. See, I'm rounding on because we only have a 3-hour show today because Stern was just rambling, man. Even Bob Seger was like wincing. He couldn't believe it.
It was all important stuff.
Yeah, well, listen, I don't mind it. Like I said, it's great if they go to 1:30 is fine, but the closing, see, when Baba Booey or whoever it is going to be in St. Louis, I don't think that's of really any great interest. Come see me in St. Louis at Uncle Funny's or something. I don't think that people listening in all the other markets, including South Florida, really give a flying crap. They're not going to get on a plane and fly to St. Louis to see Artie or Baba Booey or whoever the hell it happens to be. It just ain't going to happen. So it's just but nevertheless, we're not complaining, you understand. We'll take the money if we can get it. If we can ever collect it. It is quite a place. WQAM, hello. QAM?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm calling on John Kerry's Rock Solid Performance.
Yes. And
I just want to comment with Neil on the air, if I may.
You're talking to him.
Neil.
Yes.
Hi, this is Lewis. I'm calling on John Kerry's Rock Solid Performance.
Yes, it was rock solid, like I just said.
Absolutely, sir. Well, anyway, he beheaded Bush in the campaign. He had a good performance, and, it's time for people to open their eyes. There's about 30 days left till the election, about 30.
You're right.
So let's get that, people open up ears.
Hey, and by the way, Lewis, this corn sure is special, ain't it?
Yeah, man.
See you, Lewis. 5670560. He just wanted to get all the drop-ins in there, Drop-ins.
Absolutely. About 30, man. Roy.
There you go, Lewis. And don't forget.
I'm dying on the hair.
And most of all, Lewis.
I have no life.
WQAM, hello.
Hello, Neil?
Yes, sir.
Is Bino still there?
Yeah, Bino's here. Would you like to speak to him? We can't play those sound effects, though. Yeah, we can't play the sound effects. 5670560. You see this audience? Let's get C-SPAN and CNN in the studio so they can get the lowdown and the down on sound, and it was right there in Coral Gables, no less. Now, see, one reason we won't get any U of M people calling in. First of all, they don't own AM radios, right?
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, they're all listening to Power 96, aren't they? And if you want to hear a debate, if you want to see and hear a debate between President Bush and a contender, much more entertaining than the one last night, just go to neilrogers.com and click on the old hip hop debate. That's a special thing. And also check out what's her name? Naya Keys.
Maya Keys.
Maya Keys. Maya Keys, as in Minotaurus, and she's the daughter of Alan Keyes, that right-wing, very dark-complected, born-again, Bible-thumping goofball who's going to lose by about 70 points in the Illinois Senate race to Barack Obama, Osama your mama. And she happens to be a very proud and out bull dyke, and she's there with her gal pal. What?
She's a woman of Lesbos.
I see. She's a lesbo. And she's there with her gal pal, who's in the one, they're giving like a deep throat kiss. The one's got her tongue all the way down to her pupik on the inside. And then the other one, she's like mounting. I mean, she's like,
They're hugging. It's a warm, affectionate hug.
She's on her back, man.
To reach around.
She turned around and said, "Get off my back, bitch." But at any rate, there she is, and she's got a nice big blue button on her breast that says, George W. Bush, you're fired. Speaking of Donald Trump, you're fired.
Arthur says,
yes?
The poll for FoxNews.com is right on their homepage, down 3/4 of the way on the right.
Oh, okay, well, during the break, I'm going to check that out again, because I didn't see it. I just looked for it. I scoured all over the place. But I'll be more than happy to pass it along, because naturally the Nazi News Network, we want to pass that. And if it ain't like one-sided for Bush, what does that tell you, huh? That's going to be the real tip-off. Join WQAM 7 to 9 p.m. tonight at the Doral Ale House for prizes and specials on Coors Light. And tomorrow from 11 a.m. till 1 p.m., Little George will be at Bill Seidel's Mitsubishi. Don't step on him now. Kind of reminds me when I first bought Tiny, bought my dogs home years ago. And he weighed about a pound and a half and was so teeny and tiny that I kept stepping on him all the time. And as I think back, if I'd have just stepped a little bit harder, Anyway, George will be at Bill Seidel's Mitsubishi in Davie at 5395 South University Drive tomorrow from 11 to 1. Stop by to win prizes, which aren't much, but you can enjoy free food, which is a lot, from Atlantic City Subs in Hollywood, and get there early and enjoy.
You're listening to Neil Rogers on 560 QAM.
Just sitting around the house with not much to do. I got Neil Rogers on the radio, and, hey, what do you know there? It's what do you call it there? 12 to 1 hour.
He likes to set up colored people. He likes to frame the colored people. Officer Furman, driving through Brentwood at night with a glove in his bag. His evidence bag waits at the Bronco, opens the window to leave a few drops on the floor. A smudge on the door, Officer Mark Furman. Where did that blood come from? Officer Mark Furman. He dropped the bloody glove. Simpson and Cato, back from a burger and fries at a restaurant near. A noise in the rear, OJ is napping, dropping his socks near the bed, but there's somebody there. Planting some hair, Officer Mark Furman. Where did that blood come from? Officer Mark Furman, he dropped the bloody glove.
12:01. I discovered, I was scrolling through the DCS last night before the debate, and I discovered there's all kinds of stuff in here we can still play.
Amazing.
So if you're wondering why I'm digging out some stuff I haven't played in a long time, isn't it great to hear that? And plus you can hear both channels on that one too. I made sure of that when I dubbed it. I do want to say,
I apologize,
because I thought that Fox said, well, evidently they didn't put it up until quite well into the game, because they've only got 46,000 plus votes. CNN's got over 500,000. MSNBC on their website, they've got going on 1.7 million. And Fox News has got 46,000 votes. But at any rate, no wonder they're embarrassed to put it up, because their poll shows the debate a tie, 15%. Bush won the debate 41%, Kerry won 38%, and didn't watch 5%. And then there's 1% who were like that, like the president. How do you like that? On the Fox News poll, 41% say the Bushmeister won, 38% said Kerry won, and 15% said it was a tie. And, of course, most of those 15% too embarrassed to admit that Kerry kicked his ass. Is that incredible or what, boys and girls, huh?
New question, 2 minutes, Senator Kerry. Colossal misjudgments. What colossal misjudgments, in your opinion, has President Bush made in these areas?
Well, where do you want me to begin? First of all, he made the misjudgment of saying to America, that he was going to build a true alliance, that he would exhaust the remedies of the United Nations and go through the inspections. In fact, he first didn't even want to do that. And it wasn't until former Secretary of State Jim Baker and General Scowcroft and others pushed publicly and said, you got to go to the UN, that the president finally changed his mind. His campaign has a word for that, and went to the United Nations. Now, once there, we could have continued those inspections. We had Saddam Hussein trapped. He also promised America that he would go to war as a last resort. Those words mean something to me as somebody who's been in combat. Last resort. You got to be able to look in the eyes of families and say to those parents, I tried to do everything in my power to prevent the loss of your son and daughter. I don't believe the United States did that, and we pushed our allies aside. And so today, we are 90% of the casualties and 90% of the cost. $200 billion. $200 billion that could have been used for health care, for schools, for construction, for prescription drugs for seniors. And it's in Iraq. And Iraq is not even the center of the focus of the war on terror. The center is Afghanistan, where, incidentally, there were more Americans killed last year than the year before, where the opium production is 75% of the world's opium production, where 40 to 60% of the economy of Afghanistan is based on opium, where the elections have been postponed 3 times. The president moved the troops, so he's got 10 times the number of troops in Iraq than he has in Afghanistan, where Osama bin Laden is. Does that mean that Saddam Hussein was 10 times more important than Saddam Hussein more important than Osama bin Laden? I don't think so.
And neither do we. But nevertheless, he was really good. I taped it and I watched it a couple of times and I thought to myself, this is can't be really. I mean, this is such a mismatch. It was like the New York Yankees playing like a Sandlot bunch of 5-year-old kids, is what I thought. But then again, what do I know, right?
Right, Tommy.
Here's some good news for you. You know, the ultimate right-wing Supreme Court justice. This is hysterical. Antonin Scalia. I'll get back to Anthony. You know what he thinks are the way to ease social tensions?
What?
Orgies.
Yeah.
This is great.
What's better?
He is the conservative bastion of the U.S. Supreme Court, a favorite of President Bush and a hunting partner of the Vice President. He's argued vociferously against abortion rights and in favor of anti-sodomy laws. But it turns out there's another side to Justice Antonin Scalia. He thinks Americans ought to be having more orgies. Challenged about his views on sexual morality, Justice Scalia surprised his audience at Harvard University, telling them, I even take the position that sexual orgies eliminate social tensions and ought to be encouraged.
Damn straight.
Maybe those 9 Supremes on there. What do you think? Who's hopping on Sandra Day's O'Connor?
She's going to have to be busy.
It seems unlikely that this is what President Bush meant when he promised to appoint more judges like Scalia to the court should the opportunity arise. And you know something? Let me just interrupt my fine reading of this very amusing article by saying, how come nobody's talking about that issue? About the nature of the Supreme Court and the fact that, you know, Roe v. Wade is hanging by a thread and everybody's right to like any kind of privacy whatsoever is hanging by a thread, and whether they can come and knock on your door at 3 in the morning and take away your firstborn child. All of these things. Nobody's even talking about that. That we need any more Nazis like Scalia and Rehnquist on a court, any more pot-smoking, philandering idiots like Clarence Token Thomas. Crucially, Justice Scalia is one of the judges in favor of overturning Roe v. Wade. It says the landmark judgment protecting abortion is a constitutional right. One audience member also asked the judge whether you have any gay friends, and if not, whether you'd like to be my friend. The Harvard Crimson newspaper reported. I probably do have some gay friends, but I've never pressed the point, Justice Scalia responded. He offered no clue to the logic behind his claim that orgies eliminate social tensions. Nobody asked him whether he was familiar with Rick Moody's novel The Ice Storm, turned into a movie by Ang Lee, which appeared to suggest the exact opposite. Well, there you go. Justice Scalia says, let's all get naked and screw our brains out. But, of course, if anybody gets pregnant,
it's Clarence's fault.
That must be it. And how about Clarence Token Thomas, too? 5670560, pound 560 on the Verizon and Singular wireless lines. The Mad Dog at 2, the Big at 4, and boy, do we apologize for that. Hank isn't suspended again. I don't get all, psychotic, although that could happen any moment. But he's in New York ready for ESPN to do a big horse racing show with Brent Mousberger tomorrow, and that should be fine. WQAM, hello. QAM.
Neil.
Yes, sir. Debate headquarters, yes.
Yeah, it wasn't a debate. It was a debacle. It's a question I'm calling in on screenless. I call it rings 20 times and it just disconnected. Is that everyone or just my service?
That's everyone.
Okay, well, persistence paid off.
Well, no, most people it's not 20. It's
about 30, man.
Yeah.
That's what I meant, about 30. Now, do you get C-SPAN in Canada?
No. And even if I did, I wouldn't watch it anyway. It's like sawdust. It's a little too dry for me. You know what I mean?
No, but listen, during the debate, they showed both candidates the entire time.
Right. Yeah, I read that. They showed them side by each.
That was hilarious, seeing him squirm and beady-eyed and...
He kept squinting a lot, too. Squinting and like those smirking chimp grimaces of his really set me off.
So just, for everyone else here, the next debate, if you're in states, watch it on C-SPAN. It's a riot.
Okay, Pally.
Neil Scott.
And don't forget Tuesday night, man. John Edwards slices up that fat piece of turd, Dick, don't call me Halliburton man Cheney. I like the way Kerry threw that Halliburton thing in the right toward the end. But of course, Bush just ignored that. But it won't be ignored on Tuesday, I guarantee you. I bet you every other word's going to be Halliburton on Tuesday from Edwards. And don't sell him short, because he's a trial lawyer.
Right.
You know, those slick trial lawyers, man. Slick as butter.
Yeah, just because he's got nice teeth.
And he got that big chancre on his upper lip.
What is that?
I don't know.
Looks like a boil.
I think that used to be on Enrique's cheek.
I think it's a tumor.
Anyway, what's your take on the first president's debate? Kerry won big, 598, 62.6%. Kerry won by a bit, 115, 12%. That's 74.6% right there, almost three-fourths. I didn't watch 57, 5.9%. Well, I can understand that. Why would a lot of dullards out there want to watch something like that when the whole future of the human race is hanging in the balance? Even those punks at UAM were all whipped up into a frenzy about it. How do you like that? Which I was shocked. Maybe something's changing over there, do you think? No. The format made it useless, 56. They both sucked, 36. Bush won big, 33, 3.4%. Yeah. A draw, 22. I don't give a Schmidt, 21. And Bush by a scooch, 16. So that's 3.9% say Bush won it, one way or the other, and 74.6% say Kerry, which is about right. WQAM, hello.
Neil, how are you?
Pretty good? Yeah?
Hello?
Okay, I guess that was it. He's just checking in to see if I'm okay. I think he got chopped off.
You good?
Just cut him some slack. He's probably got one of them really crappy phones. WQAM, hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
I'm a registered independent voter, and coming into the debate, I've been very...
Can I just interrupt you for 1 second? Why do you do that? I mean, doesn't that... in Florida?
Yeah.
You're not allowed to vote in the primaries then, are you?
No.
So why do you do that?
Saves me a trip to the voting booth.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I only have to vote once, and I can pick whichever guy I want.
Okay.
Because I think, generally both parties are corrupt and...
Right. That's correct.
A pox on both their houses, as far as I'm concerned.
Uh-huh.
But I've been very disappointed in Kerry's campaign. He seemed weak and indecisive.
Mm-hmm.
And I was ready to listen to Bush and see if he could show me something in this debate. And what he showed me was that he is the stupid-ass puppet head that we've always suspected he was.
Mm-hmm.
He was a bumbling, thumpering idiot. I mean, he just spouted, empty platitudes. He kept repeating the same things.
It's a hard job. It's a hard job.
Yeah, well, he's out at his ranch 160 or 70 days a year.
Yeah, but he's got good phone service out there, and he's talking to them world leaders every day. Leaders. He's got a good relationship with Vladimir.
Yeah, Vladimir.
Vladimir said Vladimir Putin thing. That was good.
And Kerry showed a masterful command of the facts and the issues, and almost broad knowledge of policy similar to Clinton had.
Right.
And he is the man. Kerry in the debate, wiped the floor with Bush. There's no doubt about it.
I mean, how could anyone? If even people like Joe Scarborough were saying, "Geez, how could you watch that and not say that Kerry won the debate?" I mean, it wasn't even a contest. When somebody as biased as Joe Scarborough would say that, what does that tell you?
Yeah, I was impressed by that. And also, I looked at the Washington Times this morning, the conservative paper in D.C.
Right. Reverend Takamoon, right?
The best they could do is call it a draw.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that even though Kerry kicked butt in this debate, the real contest is what happens on Election Day.
Well, I hope that after all these things you're telling me that on November 2 you're going to tell me you're going to vote for Kerry, please.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. But I'm just so afraid that there's such a constituency for dumbass hicks.
Yeah, but don't forget, don't believe these polls, man, especially these CNN, Gallup, USA Today polls. Gallup, they're admitting that they're oversampling Republicans by 10%. Forget about that, okay?
Well, I just see,
and when you see the tremendous registration drive that's going on in places like Cleveland, where you got tremendous unemployment and poverty, and in places where there are a lot of poor people, those people aren't going to vote for Bush.
I hope you're right, because
Good luck to us, Pally.
All right, thanks.
All right. How do you like that? There's another one. We're building it one at a time, just like the QAM audience.
You're listening to Neil Rogers exclusively on 560 QAM.
Know that the Lord even loves Neil Rogers.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Not one high-speed chase. No girls were wearing lace. No bank robbers or sexual offense, but people pointing to their multi-threat. The breaking box office records all across the USA. Peter Jackson's movie was a hit, and that is movie, but cash and still be Lord of the Rings. Not one high-speed chase. No girls were wearing lace. No bank robbers or special effects, but people pointing to their multi-flex.
Prop 17, little inside thing here. Still don't have any call from downstairs, so there's no package showing up today, I don't think. So you might pass that along to Muffin if there's something to do today. Some busy work, and tell them to get their act together there, those Farbus and Agoyam. Anyway, did I say 1217 at 560 WQM? I don't know why we do that all the time, but it just, I don't know. In fact, I noticed Mad Dog the other day even said 2004, so in case there are people out there who don't remember the year, we keep you abreast of that, kill some good time. And today's October 1st, which you know what that means?
No.
That means if you have a watch like I do, you have to skip by the 31st, because 30 days till September, and April, cock-a-moon in November.
Oh, you got one of those windy dealies. Analogs. What? You got an analog watch?
I have a Seiko chronograph, mister. That never has to be wound.
Self-wounding?
Self-wounding, okay?
But not self-dating, obviously.
No. No, you're right about that. For a big shot like me, should go out and get a better watch. I don't understand why people buy an expensive watch. It's like an invitation to get mugged, isn't it?
Indeed it is. Don't even bother.
And let me tell you one other thing about why it's so important that it's October 1. You know what Tuesday will be? What date will that be? Look on your calendar there.
Yeah.
What will Tuesday be?
The 4th?
If today is Friday and that's October 1st, what day will Tuesday be?
The 4th? I'm looking at the October calendar here.
Today is Friday, October 1st, okay?
Yeah.
The 2nd is Saturday. The 3rd is Sunday.
Oh, Tuesday. I'm sorry. I'm still on Monday. All right, the 5th. Yeah,
I don't even know if I want to say it. October 5th, this Tuesday, DVD, Michael Moore, Fahrenheit 9/11 comes out.
DVD.
Got it?
Thanks for ripping the page off the calendar there, Josh.
A huge, humongous day. So anybody that was thinking, well, maybe I better watch that and see what a bozo this guy really is after watching last night, because there are millions of those people out there. And remember the article I had yesterday that I read about most of the Americans don't even know the positions on the issues of the two candidates?
Yes.
Well, that's another good point. Oh, I just got a blank sheet of paper out of my fax machine.
Hey, that's something.
Did that come from you?
Well, I tried to fax something that's better than you have been getting.
Well, at least it's spitting something out anyway. Paul, I have a line like that. Back in the day, I would have said it, but not anymore.
Not anymore.
When in doubt, spit it out. Paul Krugman, America's Lost Respect, writes in today's New York Times. Tuesday, October 5th. Let me say it again. The DVD will be even in a Schlockbuster, I wouldn't be surprised. But don't shop there. We hate them like poison. Go to your nearby video store and get Fahrenheit 9/11. Get several copies. Or just get one copy and bring everybody to the hood over and force them to watch it. Paul Krugman writes, as a result of the American military, President Bush declared last week, the Taliban is no longer in existence. It's unclear whether Mr. Bush misspoke or whether he really is that clueless. But his claim was in keeping with his re-election strategy, demonstrated once again in last night's debate. A president who has done immense damage to America's position in the world hopes to brazen it out by claiming that failure is success. 3 years ago, the United States was both feared and respected. Feared because of its military supremacy, respected because of its traditional commitment to democracy and the rule of law. Since then, Iraq has demonstrated the limits of American military power and has tied up so much of that power in a grinding guerrilla war. This has emboldened regimes that pose a real threat. 3 years ago, would North Korea have felt so free to trumpet its conversion of fuel rods into bombs? But even more important is the loss of respect. After the official rationales for the Iraq war proved to be false, and after America failed to make good on its promise to foster democracy in either Afghanistan or Iraq, and not least after
Abu Ghraib,
the world no longer believes that we are the good guys. Let's talk for a minute about Afghanistan, which administration officials tout as a success story. They rely on the public's ignorance. Voters, they believe, don't know that even though the United States promised to provide Afghanistan with both security and aid during its transition to democracy, it broke those promises. It has allowed the country to slide back into warlordism and allowed the Taliban to make a comeback. These days, Mr. Bush and other administration officials talk about the 10.5 million Afghans who have registered to vote in this month's election. He must have mentioned that how many times last night?
About 30, man.
Citing the figure as proof that democracy is making strides after all. They count on the public not to know, and on reporters not to mention, that the number of people registered considerably exceeds all estimates of the eligible population. What they call evidence of democracy on the march is actually evidence of a large-scale electoral fraud. It's the same story in Iraq. The January election has become the rationale for everything we're doing, yet it's hard to find anyone not beholden to the administration who believes that the election, if it happens at all, will be anything more than a sham. Yet Mr. Bush and his congressional allies seem to have learned nothing from their failures. If Mr. Bush is returned to office, there's every reason to think that they'll continue along the same disastrous path. As Kerry said last night, more of the same. We can already see one example of this when we look at the question of torture.
Abu Ghraib
has largely vanished from U.S. political discussion, largely because the administration and its congressional allies have been so effective at covering up high-level involvement. But both the revelations and the cover-up did terrible damage to America's moral authority. To much of the world, America looks like a place where top officials condone and possibly order the torture of innocent people and suffer no consequences. What we need is an effort to regain our good name. What we're getting instead is a provision inserted by congressional Republicans in the Intelligence Reform Bill to legalize extraordinary rendition, a euphemism for sending terrorism suspects to countries that use torture for interrogation. This would institutionalize a Kafkaesque system under which suspects can be sent at the government's whim to Egypt or Syria or Jordan, and to fight such a move, it's up to the suspect to prove that he'll be tortured on arrival. Just what we need to convince other countries of our commitment to the rule of law. Most Americans aren't even aware of all this. The sheer scale of Mr. Bush's foreign policy failures insulates him from its political consequences. Voters aren't ready to believe how badly the war in Iraq is going, let alone how badly America's moral position in the world has deteriorated. But the rest of the world's already lost faith in us. In fact, let me make a prediction. If Mr. Bush gets a second term, we will soon have no democracies left among our allies. No, not even Tony Blair's Britain. Mr. Bush will be left with the support of regimes that don't worry about the legalities, regimes like Vladimir Putin's Russia. Or is that Vladdy Putin? Something like that. Oh, and Bush just came back there to 10 Downing Street. They did that thing because he had a little heart flutter. Mm-hmm. And the procedure was real quick, you notice, because they couldn't find a heart or a brain anymore. Pretty sad, Mr. Blair. Somebody we used to respect who's just a total sellout. But then again. Okay, here's like a little thumbnail now. Instant polls conducted by the unctuous right-wing Gallup, ABC News and CBS all declared Democratic challenger John Kerry a clear winner of the first debate against President George W. Bush last night. Kerry accused Bush of committing a colossal error of judgment by invading Iraq. Bush countered by saying that Kerry was sending mixed signals to our troops by criticizing the war after voting to authorize use of force in Iraq. It was a Kerry victory, but he never delivered that knockout punch. Russ Kosterich, chief U.S. equity strategist at State Street Global Markets, which oversees about $1 trillion in assets, said the next two debates are going to be critical for Kerry. They're scheduled to meet October 8th and 13th. And then Tuesday, not only do we have the Michael Moore DVD coming out, Fahrenheit 9/11, but Tuesday night's the great vice presidential debate, as John Edwards mops up the floor with cranky old Dick Cheney. The 90-minute debate in Coral Gables, Florida, 33 days before the November 2nd election, gave Bush and Kerry their broadest audience of the campaign. An L.A. Times poll showed 88% of likely voters plan to watch or listen to the two candidates. About a fifth of the voters in the Times poll said the debate might affect their vote. Bush entered with a lead of as much as 8 points in 4 surveys this week, but the last couple of days it's been dwindling, was down to 2 or 3 points nationwide. 53% of the 613 registered voters who watched the 90-minute debate said Kerry did better. According to a poll by Gallup for CNN and USA Today, 37% backed Bush. And again, that's the Gallup poll where they interviewed mostly Bush supporters. It's just amazing to me. And they have Bill Schneider on there for like about 30 seconds.
About 30, man.
Who tells you that? And if you didn't happen to be watching at that point, you think it like, well, reflects everybody. And then you look on their website and you see they got like over 500,000 votes on there now, and 71.5% said Kerry beat Bush's ass in the debate. Well, you figure out which one makes sense. An ABC poll of 531 registered voters found 45% said Kerry won, 36% for Bush. CBS's survey, conducted via the Internet, said that 43% of 200 uncommitted voters who watched Kerry. See, again. But at any rate, these were uncommitted voters. 43% said that Kerry won, 28% Bush was the winner, 29% said that they tied. European commentators declared Kerry the winner, hailing the Democratic challenger's pledge to rebuild alliances that they say Bush trampled by invading Iraq. And it goes on and on. Well, yeah, we're just touching all the bases.
Don't touch this one.
Why not? And don't forget those Marlins, baby. We're running out of time. So I guess the only question is if they're going to finish second or third, right, Josh?
Yeah.
And they got 3 games left with the Phillies, tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday. I guess that there was one game that got rained out or something that they're not going to make up because unless it has a bearing in the standings. I'm thinking. Isn't that right?
Right.
See, I could say anything. I could say that they're going to be playing 2 weeks from Shavuos, and Josh should say, I think you got a point.
You're listening to Neil Rogers exclusively on 560.
Hey, you bastard.
Luciano Pavarotti, now the fattest of the 3 tenors, is back, stretching his vocal abilities in a way never intended by Mother Nature. In a new CD box set, Pavarotti Does Motown.
Through the grapevine, not much longer would you be mine. Oh, heard through the grapevine.
Pavarotti Does Motown. If you thought he was good with an aria, wait till you hear him work over the real classics. Pavarotti Does Motown gives you the chance to listen to solid gold tunes brought to life in a way you never hoped for.
I'm gonna wait till the midnight hour. That's when my love comes tumbling down. I'm gonna wait till the midnight hour when there's nobody else around.
Okay, so technically that one wasn't Motown. But don't tell Luciano or Wilson Pickett. So what are you waiting for? If you like ordering CDs that you can't get in stores, call now to get a collection that will sit in your CD rack gathering dust for years to come.
Sugar pie, honey bunch, you know that I love you. I can't help myself. I want you and nobody else.
Pavarotti Does Motown. Get it while supplies last. By the way, supplies are not likely to run out anytime soon.
And I can't understand why. I love that.
That was great.
12:31, 29 till noon at 560 WQAM. I didn't mention the Sun Sentinel poll, did I?
No.
Let's see. They got 11. What do they got? 13,097 total responses. And who do you think won the presidential debate last night? 19.8% President Bush, 71.1% John Kerry, 4.9% a tie, and not sure as in 4.1%. Not sure. In other words, they have no opinion because they're too stupid, but at least they admit it. So that's 71.1 to like a little under 20% there for the Bushmeister. That is just consistent right across the board there. When you look at the CNN poll, where they got over 500,000 votes now, 71.5% Kerry, 21.5% Bush, 7% said it was a draw. That's something. WQAM, hello.
Neil, please.
Yes, sir. Debate Central speaking.
Hey, Neil. How you doing today?
Pretty good.
Good. Yeah, I just pumped over to Rush real fast, and he admitted halfway through the show that Bush was having the lead, and then Kerry all of a sudden blew it.
Yeah.
The spin the guy puts on there is just ridiculous. These ditto heads, man, the way they I just can't get it, you know.
Yeah, don't forget, he's preaching to the choir, man. He's talking just like the Fox News Network. They're strictly preaching to the choir. And even on Fox News, Bush only beat him by 3 points in air poll. That is unbelievably embarrassing.
That is unbelievable. And, you know, the plus-minus margin on it.
What is it?
The plus-minus on that, too, will show Kerry winning. You know, that margin of error. Hey, I got one more thing. A shameless request?
Yes, sir.
Can I hear some Ilion things so we remember the good old days?
You got it, man.
All right, take care.
Okay, calm down, Rush. Okay, we'll maybe right over with a fresh batch for you. 27 till 1 at 560 WQAM. QAM, hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
There's one thing that I can't figure out that Bush kept harping on during this debate. he kept saying, no matter how many inspections or further UN inspections, he wouldn't have disarmed. Saddam wouldn't have disarmed. Mm-hmm. Well, we know that there were no weapons of mass destruction, so what could he have disarmed?
Excellent point. Maybe they could have chopped his arms off.
Yeah, I don't. Nobody has brought that up that I've heard, talking about it. But that's his whole rationale. Well, no resolutions would have got him to disarm. Disarm what? His dog? His parakeet?
Precisely.
I don't know. Good luck to us all.
Okay, thanks, Pally. Yeah, he kept talking about the weapons, but the fact of the matter is that we now admit that there aren't any. But don't confuse them with the facts, because they've changed the topic on everybody again. First, it was the weapons of mass destruction. That didn't work because there aren't any. And then it was, they were involved with Al-Qaeda. Saddam and Al-Qaeda and Osama, they were pretty tight. That turned out to be a lie, even though Cheney kept trying, pushing it and pumping it and yanking it, and his heart, too. Didn't work. So then they finally had to say, we want to spread democracy all over the world. It's going to be good for Israel and all those people in that part of the world. And once they see how good it works, it's going to, spread like wildfire. Well, the only thing that's spreading like wildfire is terrorism. That's the only thing and somebody I know, a little midget guy, little Julio that came in on a banana boat years ago, he said on this show, long ago, back when they started this crap, he used the expression poking the hornet's nest.
I said,
Didn't you say that?
I said they're going to whack the hornet's nest.
They whacked it. They whacked one of the biggest hornet's nests on the face of the globe, and now all of a sudden we got nothing but Surus all around us. Iraq was, just like Kerry said, they had him under their thumb. They had the inspectors in there. They had him contained. They could amuse him and entertain him. They rather could go over interview him again, and that's it. Maybe we could have sent what's his name over there to, assassinate Saddam.
Sanctions, inspections, no-fly zones.
Right. Like Kerry said last night, 3/4 of the country was no-fly zones anyway. So what was the big deal? What was to contain? Just a dog and pony show in which 1,056 American lives have been lost, not to mention all the wounded people whose lives have been destroyed, not to mention all of their families and their kids and all their relatives.
Over 10,000 Iraqis.
No, it's way beyond that. Way beyond that. You'll never even know anywhere near what the real number is, not to mention the 35 little kids that got killed yesterday. Collateral damage, they're in the way while they're waiting to get their candy.
Hey, they should have been insurging.
Sorry, you're dead. Just like the Americans that thought they were going to get greeted with candy and flowers. They're soldiers. Yeah, there ain't no candy and flowers being handed out in wars. I hate to break the news to you, boys and girls, and that's what your president has done. He should be impeached. He should be facing impeachment hearings right now as we speak. And when you make the comparison, Clinton, from the moment he got in, they were after him. They were out to nail his ass because he interrupted the right-wing Nazi party in America, man. They were having it their way, starting with Reagan in 80, man. That was the beginning. And then we had that one term of that simpering wimp. That simpleton. Read my lips. Idiot. And then, all of a sudden, the party got disrupted. Where the hell did this yahoo come from? Bubba. And they couldn't smear him with Jennifer Flowers. They couldn't smear him. He was like one of their own Teflon people. No matter what how hard they put the butter on him, it kept sliding off like grease.
It's because he was tall and stood up straight.
That must be it. And he knew what the hell he was talking about. And so for 8 long years, they were trying desperately every minute of every day to try to bring him down. And they damn near did. Until we wound up with those stupid-ass impeachment hearings because he lied about sexual hanky-panky. Well, wow, how do you like that? Sexual hanky-panky in which nobody died, nobody had their son or brother or father or sister killed. And we have impeachment hearings on that, and the rest of the world is looking at us like, are these people crazy or what? They're crazier than we ever thought they were. They're off their rocker, man. They're impeaching the president because he's lying about his sex, which is nobody else's business. Because he's married to an ice princess and he wants to get a little on the side, or maybe a lot, whatever the hell he wants.
She was a lot.
What a piece of turd, man. And now we get a president who who lies every possible lie. The O'Neill book, the Richard Clark book. There's 80 zillion books, but did the American public read them? No, because it's like preaching to the choir again. The people already know that stuff who are reading those books, including me. It's all in there. You can go on our website, see that whole list of books on there, 80 zillion, read them all. It's all tell you the same stuff. It's no big secret. These Nazis were hell-bent on going into Iraq before the hell they even took office. It was all part of that neocon plan, baby. Part of the PNAC, the Project for a New American Century, part of the game plan. They were howling for this crap for years. And then Clinton got in there and got in their way, spoiled the party. That's the Nazi party to you. And so then along came 2000, and when it looked like they weren't going to win again, guess what? We had to put the fix in. And poor fat-ass Governor Jeb, he was over there in Tallahassee crying. He was crying. It looked like we lost. Never said we lost. And then Catherine Harris must have come in and patted him on the ass, on that big, fat, ugly ass of his, and said, oh, don't worry, Jeb. We got the fixes in. It's all set. And so Jeb gets on the phone to brother GW over there in Crawford, Texas, and says, hey, we won. Nobody else knew we won, but they knew we won. Remember that 3 o'clock in the morning? All the networks are like peeing all over each other about what the hell was going on here, who won, who lost, who's on first. And Jeb knew. And the reason that Jeb knew is because Catherine Harris knew, because Teresa Lepore knew. Because if you didn't vote the right way, your vote didn't count. At this point now, I'm not even sure that my vote counted. I know I voted for Gore, but I'm not sure it counted.
I think it went for Buchanan.
I'm serious. What kind of a communist bunch of crap is this? And so they had to steal their way back in there so all these right-wing lunatics, the God Squad, could try to instill and force their hate and their hostility and their divisiveness. This is supposed to be compassionate conservatism. Right. Compassion for the rich. Compassion for the fundamentalist lunatics. At any rate, it's 20 till 1 at QAM.
The Howard Stern Show. Neil Rogers, mornings and midday. And sports around the clock. 560 QAM.
Toward a place we know and aim them at a fella whose first name begins with O. There's one thing we all understand. Al-Qaeda won't be finished until we blow up Pakistan.
Absolutely.
We could chase them round forever with our tanks and all our troops. Special forces are so tired of jumping through them hoops. You know we need another plan. So let's cut out all the nonsense and go blow up Pakistan. Al-Qaeda needs a nuclear tan. Why don't we stop pussyfooting and go blow up Pakistan?
I'm dying over here. Absolutely correct, sir.
Boom, boom. 12:45 at 560 WQM. So also in the same CNN poll, not the one online, but the one that they did with the Gallup people, with the right-wing Gallup people. See, he just admitted Schneider on there again.
Again?
That it was 10%, Bush had a 10% lead in the group that they polled again, because Gallup always has a 10% Republican bias in the group that they poll, which is at least 10%. Anyway, was your opinion more or less favorable of the candidates last night? In Kerry's case, 46% more favorable, 13% less, and no change 40%. You got that? 46, 13, 40. Bush, 21% more favorable, 17% less, and 62% no change. How do you like that?
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, there was a margin of 33% that Kerry had more favorable as opposed to less, and Bush like 4%. Just barely edged out in the positive column there. That speaks for itself. Speaking of columns, Betsy Vasquez writes, America clearly sees at last that the emperor is naked. In the Moderate Independent. She says, how bad was it for Bush? So bad that Fox News' website didn't even run any polls. So evidently in the beginning they didn't until they got egg on their puss and had to put one on there. So bad that all Matt Drudge could try and boast about on his website was that some Democrat called it a draw. So bad that even Bush's people could only try to say, yeah, he lost, but so what? Other media outlets have been telling you this election would be close and that the debates might even be as well. We hate to say it, not that much, but we told them so. Bush got shellacked so badly it was astounding. He was like a wounded animal desperate for a place to hide but not able to find one. For the past week, the right wing had been joking about how Kerry was a sweater with sweat during the debates, but it was Bush who the camera saw wiping sweat from his brow and drinking heavily from his water glass repeatedly, and fumbling through his papers, desperate to find something else to say besides the one or two talking point phrases he could manage to remember. There was no escaping or hiding the fact that Bush was not even remotely deserving of being on that stage. He was rambling and incoherent. His answers wandered not only off topic but out of comprehensibility. In short, all of the things the president's handlers had been adeptly hiding from the public, that the emperor truly is butt naked, got stuck right out there in the bright light. And now America knows. Even the Gallup poll, which took its usual heavily Republican-biased sample, said Kerry blew Bush away. These were supposed to, according to the non-moderate independent media, be Bush's strong points, foreign policy and style. He got clobbered on both. He gave answers that were flat-out dishonest, huge gaffes that will certainly be brought back to haunt him. The AQCon network's been brought to justice, said President Bush, bragging about his national security record. Excuse me? How about reality? U.S. supports AQCon pardon. As this story reports, the United States has supported President Pervert Musharraf's decision to pardon scientist Abdul Qadir Khan, who confessed to leaking nuclear secrets to Libya, Iran, and North Korea. This man who gave nuclear secrets to Libya, Iran, and North Korea, Bush got him pardoned, and then stood before America last night and said he's been brought to justice. Bush even said at one point, I didn't need anybody to tell me to get to the UN. President Bush's fantasy world has crumbled right before the American public. Last election he came across as one of the average people. This time he showed himself to be one of the special children who ride the little yellow bus.
That's not nice.
And President Bush has a Freudian moment from hell when he was trying to counter Kerry's charge that Bush confused Saddam with Osama and incorrectly attacked Iraq for 9/11 instead of just going after Osama. Bush replied, of course we're after Saddam Hussein. I mean bin Laden. President Bush didn't even come prepared with zingers, the usual Republican-fed crack lines. No, on this night it was Senator Kerry who was calm, forceful, relaxed, in complete control, and personable and funny. Kerry brought down the House when he talked about Tora Bora, saying the president even outsourced the job of going after bin Laden when we had him cornered. Just yesterday, said Kerry, General Eisenhower's son, General John Eisenhower, endorsed me, General Admiral William Crown, General Tony McBeak, who ran the Air Force so effectively for his father, and all believe I would make a stronger commander-in-chief, and they believe it because they know I would not take my eye off the goal, Osama bin Laden. Unfortunately, he escaped in the mountains of Tora Bora. We had him surrounded, but we didn't use American forces, the best trained in the world, to go kill him. The president relied on Afghan warlords, and he outsourced that job, too. That's wrong. What happened last night was exactly what we said would happen way back in May in articles like these. The Bush people had been making the horrible mistake of running against John Kerry as if he were Al Gore or Michael Dukakis, whiny sort of weak liberal types who let themselves be bullied. We warned that Kerry wasn't one to let himself get bullied, and that he had strength, charisma, and charm that the press was underestimating. No, he wasn't the smooth-talking Southern charmer like Bush or Clinton, but he was the quiet, cool, Northeastern-type charmer. Last night the Bushies went up there seemingly without a plan except to have Bush repeatedly, and we mean repeatedly and repeatedly and repeatedly until they began to sound like Rain Man, say that Kerry changes positions. He sends mixed messages. He changes positions, mixed messages, changes positions. We're not exaggerating here. I'm accurately reflecting the number of times Bush mumbled these phrases in incoherent desperation. Mixed messages, mixed messages, mixed messages, mixed signals, mixed messages, waver. And he only stopped babbling that mantra when he was saying not one, not two, but 7 times that Kerry had called Iraq the wrong war at the wrong time at the wrong place, and not 7, not 8, but 11 times that it's hard work fighting terrorists, in addition to pointing out twice people were working hard at it. So people are sitting there seeing Kerry give actual coherent answers, and Bush is lost, sweating, pounding water like it's J.D., fumbling through papers desperately, sneering and looking miserable and angry like he wants to leave, and giving answers that are incoherent rambles laced with flat-out lies or misstatements. Over and over, this is the wrong war at the wrong time at the wrong place. Hard work. This is the wrong war, and this goes on. Keep repeating it 100 times.
We heard it.
Only interrupted by changes position. He sends mixed messages, mixed signals. Folks, this was only a 90-minute debate, and Bush got only half of it. The worst part was seeing the look of Bush spinners' faces afterward. They were at first trying desperately to try and pretend their guy won, but couldn't muster it. Then they tried to call it a draw. No luck. So in the end, they simply admitted the obvious, that their guy lost, which coming from the Bushies means he really got clobbered. And desperately, they try to sell the spin that Kerry won, but it won't affect the voters of the polls. Like we've said, this is not an election, it's a chump check. One candidate isn't even considerable, and America saw that clearly last night. And they saw the other candidate, Kerry, as no Al Gore. They've been told he wasn't warm, aloof, unable to connect, a flip-flopaholic. As our John Ashton said, all Kerry had to do was to pass the I'm not a pushover test, and there's no question he did so with flying colors. He nailed points like how about Bush let Osama get away at Tora Bora, that the president had been given a free ride on until that point. And he made it important, clear distinctions about the Iraq policy. The press said it wasn't clear what the difference was between Kerry's and Bush's positions on Iraq. Kerry made it clear again and again. It's the how, stupid. He said clearly and concisely, I've had one position, one consistent position, that Saddam Hussein was a threat. There was a right way to disarm him and a wrong way, and the president chose the wrong way. And he was very specific in pointing out that the wrong way meant, and what the right way would be, to win peace, to win people over there must trust we are not there to occupy their country and take their oil. I think and by the way, he also mentioned the thing about the only building they protected was the oil ministry after they went into Baghdad, which was beautiful. I think a critical component of success in Iraq is being able to convince the Iraqis and the Arab world that the United States doesn't have long-term designs on it. Oh, yeah, as a matter of fact, it says it here. When the only building that was guarded when the troops went into Baghdad was the oil ministry. We created an insurgency, said Kerry, when Bush didn't guard the nuclear facilities, didn't guard the Foreign Office, where you might have found information about weapons of mass destruction, didn't guard the borders. Bush created the mess that exists there now. He wouldn't have made such a mess, and will correct mistakes like these now, Kerry said. And again, clearly pointing out how he would fix the situation in Iraq, correcting the mistakes Bush has made, he said, I will make a flat statement. The United States of America has no long-term designs on staying in Iraq. It would be nice to show some area or moment where Bush shined and Kerry could use some improvement, but there was none. Last night was an ugly, complete disaster for the Bushes, and so far, unlike with Gore, the non-MI media hasn't even been able to even cover for Bush on this one. No, tonight America saw that the Emperor clearly has no clothes, and they all realized as they gazed upon him standing naked before them for 90 painful, tortured minutes that the naked truth is the Emperor really doesn't have much there. That little yellow bus. That's terrible.
Not fair to those kids.
Yeah. Don't forget, join QAM tonight, 7 to 9 p.m. at the Doral Ale House for prizes and specials on Coors Light. And join Little George tomorrow, 11 to 1. At Bill Seidel's Mitsubishi in Davie. He might even let you poke his hornet's nest. That's 5395 South University Drive. Stop by to win some of our low-budget, embarrassing QM prizes. But if you get there early enough, enjoy free food from Atlantic City Subs, where Ira used to make the difference. And somebody else still does there now, I'm sure. WQAM, hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Think you're sending mixed messages. And
mixed signals, yeah.
Well,
it's hard work, you know.
Mixed messages.
Yeah.
Actually, I haven't heard you mention it, but did you notice George Bush's nervous twitch, that his little neck bob whenever Kerry said something that bothered him? It's just
chicken neck bob, yeah.
To further accentuate the Rain Man complex. This guy is the president, and people... actually, I spoke on the phone with a couple of people who still think, I'm still wanting Bush to win me over. I'm like, what is wrong with you? I mean, seriously, why do you want this guy to win you over? Tell me, and I tried to get him to tell me, why do you want him to win you over? He wouldn't answer me. They don't even know, Neil. They don't know why they want him to win them over. They're weird.
You know what that's like? That would be like saying they're waiting for Adolf Hitler to join B'nai B'rith. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ain't gonna happen.
Some people are hopeless, Neil. Just gotta accept it.
Good luck to us, Pally.
All right.
And don't be sending any more than mixed messages, please. 567-0560, pound 560 on a Verizon and Singular Wireless line. Boy, we only got an hour to go. It feels like we just sat our fat asses down here. You know?
This is
like that. Well, here's our poll results so far. What's your take on the first presidential debate last night? And don't forget, Tuesday night, October 5, it'll be John Edwards and Dick Cheney. 1,139 votes. Kerry won big, 62.7%, 715 votes. Kerry by a bit. He won it, 139, 12.2. That's 74.9%, almost 75. It's getting close. The format made it useless, 71. You're wrong. I didn't watch 66, 5.7%. Do you really believe that 94% of this audience watched the debate last night?
That's amazing.
We can only hope. You see, that was one of the things that they were talking about yesterday, and we still have no rating kind of numbers in or anything like that yet. But they said that if they had a gigantic viewership for the debates last night, that it portended for a big voter turnout on November 2nd, that would be great. We hope. Bush won big, 44, 3.8% silly people. They both sucked, 38. I don't give a Schmidt, 24. It was a draw, 24. And Bush by a bit, by a little, by an inch, 10. Or 18, I'm sorry. So you add Bush's numbers together, and you got, 5.3% against 74.9%. That's pretty close.
You're listening to Neil Rogers exclusively on 560 QAM.
Hi, all my favorite Republicans. This is Matt Drudge, and it's time for the... Excuse me, I'm floating. It's time once again for the Neil Rogers...
1 to 2.
Hour.
Another football playing Moody. Plays for the Cleveland Browns. He got a flag in his eye and he lost his mind and threw the referee on the ground. Will they get him out of the game? And pending further review, to say all is well or he'll go to hell, it's all up to tackling up boo-boo-boo. Now he's banging Orlando Brown, throwing the referee on the ground. Being an NFL jock, you never hear the jail cell lock. Check it out, baby. Every sports franchise. Diplomatic criminal they didn't like. Now, if you can catch the ball or run with the ball and rape and murder, that'd be alright. As long as they can fill the bleachers and sell out Sunday's game, well, who cares? Who gets money long as they're making money and the lemons like you do the wave? He'd be bad, Orlando Brown, throwing the referee on the ground. Being an NFL job means you never hear the jail cell lock. Being an NFL job means you never hear the jail cell lock.
Boy, sure been a long time before we heard that, you know, too long.
Damn straight.
Big bad Orlando Brown. 1 minute past 1 at 560 WQAM. Lawmaker expresses dismay that White House allegedly wrote Alawi's speech. Not that he's a puppet, you understand. Right?
Right.
I mean, Bush was very indignant last night over the fact that Kerry and his people said that he was a puppet of the White House and were so disrespectful to him. In a letter to the White House, a leading U.S. Senate Democrat expressed profound dismay that the White House allegedly wrote a large portion of Iraqi Prime Minister Alawi's speech to Congress last week. I want to express my profound dismay about reports that officials from your administration and your re-election campaign were heavily involved in writing parts of Prime Minister Alawi's speech, California Senator Dianne Feinstein wrote in a letter to President George W. Deer-in-the-headlights Bush. You may be surprised by this, Mr. President, but I viewed Prime Minister Alawi's speech as an independent view on conditions in Iraq, she wrote. His speech gave me hope that the reconstruction efforts were proceeding in most of the country and that elections would be held on schedule. To learn that this was not an independent view, but one that was massaged by your campaign operatives, jaundices the speech and reduces the credibility of his remarks, Feinstein wrote. Not that he's a puppet or stooge, you understand.
I understand.
Her letter was a response to an article appearing in yesterday's Washington Post, which also alleged that Alawi was coached by U.S. officials, including Dan Senior, former spokesman for the Coalition Provisional Authority in Iraq, in perfecting his delivery of the speech delivered before a joint session of Congress 1 week ago. But he's not a puppet, you understand?
No.
He might as well be on Bush's hand or on Rumsfeld's hand. Man, like Senior Wenches. Well, that's right. I forgot she works for CNN covering the Bush campaign. 5670560. At least 110 insurgents killed in Samara. That was the big finish last night.
Islamic resistance. That's the rallying cry in an audio recording, supposedly, of Osama bin Laden's right-hand man, Ayman al-Zawahiri.
Oh, yeah, al-Zawahiri. We got him yet?
No.
How about Osama Yamama?
No.
But we got Cat Stevens, baby. Let's hear it.
Oh!
Everybody this weekend should be riding around with their windows down yelling, we don't have Osama yet. That'll be soon, but we got Cat Stevens.
Oh!
Now, how can you question a leader who fights the war on terror by arresting, well, we didn't arrest him, by deporting a dangerous, hardened criminal like Cat Stevens?
Won't see that doily anymore.
Right. Put his ass right on that freaking peace train. WQAM, hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I'd like to talk to Neil.
Speaking.
Neil, how you doing, buddy?
All right, Pally.
Neil, I don't understand what these idiots in the United States, they still believe in this idiot Bush. I mean, the guy was back and forth with the same old rhetoric. Betty beep, bada boop, bitty boom, Betty boop. I go, Neil, what is it with this guy? Commander-in-Chief? This guy couldn't command the roaches out of the White House. I mean, what are we doing, man? Get rid of this guy. Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ. All right, that was great.
All right.
Excellent. You see, now that they've actually had a chance to see these two side by each, you know, all the commercials and the sound bites and the throw in the mud and all the other crap, and this one is this, and this one is that, and he didn't bleed enough, and this one's a draft dodger, which we already knew. But then when you get a chance to see them standing there side by each, and Kerry stands there like a responsible human being, like a leader, very presidential looking, very in command of what he's talking about. And then you got this other twitching goofball fool who's like that article that I read from The Independent, like he wanted to run off the stage. He didn't look at his watch like Daddy did a couple of times. They must have coached him, don't do that. But he really wanted to get out of there in the worst possible way. And, of course, when you're in the Gables, can you blame him?
No.
WQAM, hello. QAM? Not there. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil?
Yep.
Is that you? It's Carol.
Me.
Hey, I'm becoming chronic.
It's okay.
How great was that? How great was Kerry last night? I mean,
especially compared to the expectations that we had with the way he's been bumbling around for a few weeks.
He was so clear. I don't know if anybody's talked about this, But did you notice how at the end, every time the little light flashed, he finished with, and that's why I'd make a better president. And that's, he like just completed it so perfectly.
Yeah.
He handled it so perfectly. And George Bush looked like a nitwit. And honestly, he looked like he is a nitwit.
He lived right up to the smirking chimp last night. I mean, that was him all the way.
Oh, Curious George. It's like, huh? What's going on here? And, he
well, it was confusing because there was too many mixed messages.
Right. And he really was unprepared. And Kerry is so well informed. He's well informed. He's intelligent.
You know what's going to be really important, though, is if Edwards does a really super job against Cheney on Tuesday, that could be really... Don't sell that one short. That could be big.
I know. I suddenly had that fear. Because I haven't seen much of Edwards lately. And Cheney is really a slime ball. I mean, he is just a sneak and a cheat and a thief. As far as I'm concerned, a dangerous human being.
Yeah, but don't forget, once Edwards brings up Halliburton, he's not going to let go of it.
Right. Well, yeah, but they're going to be sitting down, and, there's something about that. I'm worried for Edwards. I am worried for him. Kerry really proved what a class act he is.
Amen. Okay, sweetheart, things are looking up.
Things are.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 5670560, pound 560 on the Verizon Singular Wireless lines. Here on Debate Central. WQAM, hello?
That's not fair. Hello?
What is it?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry.
Did anybody talk about the 25-year anniversary?
Of Reverend Jones? No. WQAM, hello?
Hello, Neil. How are you?
Yes, sir.
The other one.
Oh, his boyfriend's on the other phone. Oh, they must have been like grabbing each other's butt when we first punched it up there. WQAM, hello?
Hey, Neil, how are you?
Okay.
I just turned on your show. I didn't know if anybody had mentioned the many times that he said nuclear.
Yes, I did mention that.
Okay, and I went to call the other day.
He may be a liar, but at least he's consistent, yes?
Yeah, right, of course. The other day they had wonderful governor on the some stupid thing, and they actually showed him it said actually his real name instead of Jeb. And they're trying to maybe not make him look like such a yokel by using his real name. I've never seen them do that before.
I'll be damned.
Yeah, right.
It still looks like a fat-ass yokel to me, but anyway, have a great day. By the way, I told you the other day, so pretend you don't know, the P in the grandson, the nephew, whatever the hell he is, the nephew, George P. Bush, the one who keeps driving around in circles in his girlfriend's parking lot. And then I had him on there, one of the networks last night. He's not looking so good anymore. But anyway, the P stands for Prescott.
Yeah.
George Prescott Bush. Wow. I wonder if he wears a swastika. Maybe he's got a swastika tattooed on his rectum. WQAM, hello.
Yeah, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I heard that the United Nations are going to be monitoring the elections. You heard that?
Not the United Nations. International monitors, yeah.
Yeah, they're going to be monitoring it until it don't get stolen. Thank you, Neil.
WQAM, hello. QAM.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
George, how you guys doing today?
We're doing sensational, Pally.
Man, what a fiesta that was last night. I have no party affiliation. I didn't know much about Kerry, but last night, if he didn't make the president look like a stone idiot, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching him squirm for 90 minutes. Did you see that idiotic grin that our president was wearing for 90 minutes? The best soundbite you got from him is dory.
Exactly. In fact, I'm surprised you didn't say that at the end. 5670560, pound 560. And again, we certainly hope that C-SPAN is recording a lot of these calls so they can play them to the national audience a little later on tonight, or maybe over the weekend. They got a lot of time to fill. Take a look at how that
question about Iraq and sending people into Iraq. He just said the enemy attacked us. Saddam Hussein didn't attack us.
No.
Osama bin Laden attacked us.
Yeah, and it's still, we realize how many stupid people there are in America because we got all those functional illiterates and the education system is a joke and a lot of people just screaming, give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball. But the fact of the matter is that when there are still this enormous number, there are millions of people who are like, they can't connect the dots. So how Teresa Lepore makes these connect the arrows things, that goes to show you she's trying to screw it up again. They can't connect the dots. There's only a couple of dots there, man. What's dot? We get attacked by Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaeda, so let's invade Iraq because Saddam Hussein's a bad guy. Oh, okay.
A Christian told us.
Sure makes sense to me.
He wouldn't lie.
What's your take on our first presidential debate? Well, how many we got now? Look at that, 1,189 votes. I bet we'd have 2,000 if Erica wouldn't have been out at the Parliament House last night till 4 in the morning. Well, listen, sometimes late in life things change,
Is that some gay thing that the rest of us don't know about? Okay.
What's your take on the first presidential debate, 1189? Well, we'll let you in on that. You're not supposed to know about those things.
All right.
Kerry won big, 751. In fact, we better hope that Eric doesn't know about it, because if he does know what it is, well, 63.1% say Kerry won big. Kerry won by a bit, 144. That's 12%. The format made it useless, 75, 6%. Didn't watch, 67. Only 5.6% of this audience didn't watch last night. That is amazing. Look at that. More favorable after the debate of Kerry, 46%. Less, 13%. No change, 41%. 46% more favorable after the debate. Bush, 21% more favorable. 17 less. No change, 62. Including me, I already knew he was a nitwit. Bush won big, 44, 3.6%. Right. They both suck, 42. I don't give a Schmidt, 25. It was a draw, 24, 2%. And Bush by a tiny bit, 19, 1.5. So add those Bush won numbers together, 5%. You add the Kerry ones, now over three-quarters, 75.1%. Pretty tight, the way I look at it. Don't you think?
It's tight, but I got to feel
75.1 to 5%. Nip and tuck, neck and neck, nose to nose. I've been telling you for a long time why you ought to be shopping at 1-800-Mattress. Now I want to tell you even more. Dial Mattress is proud to announce that they carry Sealy Posturepedic, the #1 brand in mattresses now. So call 1-800-Mattress today and you'll get factory direct prices on all Sealy Posturepedics. When you call 1-800-Mattress, you'll get same-day delivery all across South Florida. By calling 1-800-Mattress, you get to choose from the deepest and widest selection of Sealy bedding, all available for same-day delivery. And just like they've been doing for years, they still let you pick the date and time. The 2-hour window for delivery to fit your schedule when you're going to be home, when it's convenient for you, believe it or not. And Dial Mattress shows up on time 99.7% of the time. Dial Mattress, they're ranked #1 in customer satisfaction. They were winners of the 2004 Better Business Bureau Local Torch of Excellence Award. All the smart folks are making that call, even some who aren't too bright. 1-800-Mattress, that's the way to do it. Like I always tell you, if you want to waste your time, money, and gas, get ripped off, go to those bedding and department stores, schlep around all over town. But if you want the best deal going, just sit there on your fat ass or somebody's fat ass and make that easy call at 1-800-Mattress and guarantee yourself a great night's sleep for years to come. On the web, it's mattress.com or call them right now at 1-800-MATTRES.
Neil Rogers exclusively on 560 QAM.
It's Friday, you bastards.
She's oily, soily, and old. Looks like the Quaker Oats died. Smells from the body roll mold. Barbara Bush had body bells and eyes full of her ice popped out. It happened when she realized she raised more criminal clout. Barbara Bush had body bells and eyes. And she's nasty, old and crafty, and she rides for fights and taxis. She's atrocious and takes offering to anyone who says they want no voice. Walks like she's carrying a bowling ball between her thighs and has Marty bells and eyes. She's as it needs her score, as if she's always surprised. She'd wiggle when she talks. Barbara Bush and Marty bells and eyes. She gave us George Bush and Jeb Bush, not to mention Bill and Robin Bush. He'll be rich and fat and smells just like the magic sauce on a Big Mac. Barbara Bush resembles Ernest Borgnine on a bad day with Marty bells and eyes.
Oh, look at that. Armored vehicles massing on the Gaza border. Don't tell me those Jews and Arabs are at it again, are they? What a shock, huh? What a surprise. Especially Arab Shabbos. Anyway, it's 1:18 at 560 WQ. We got a bunch of faxes now. You must have run in the other part of the building again.
I sure did.
How come it is that their phone line seems to be working, but that one is all screwed up?
Are you causing trouble again, Uppity?
Yes.
Mr. Uppity Demanding?
John says, no, that's okay. I finally got that check yesterday, so it was only like 6 days late. In fact, that's the answer to this guy, Larry in Deerfield Beach, whose intentions are very good. But Larry, see, if I'm going to work for somebody, I would like eventually to get paid. Now, sometimes when you're working for this company, it's a little bit late, but better late than never. But they always do clear, and sooner or later you get them if you scream enough. But with Air America, forget about it. Although I do respect tremendously Al Franken and that wonderful sidekick. What's her name again?
Hi, I'm
Joyce.
Catherine Lambert.
Oh, Catherine Lambert. She is...
Lambert.
Oh, whatever her name is, she is just a laugh riot. Anyway, Larry in Deerfield says, not that there's anything wrong with her, but you'd be so much better on Air America than Randy Rhoads. Well, and especially better than tapes of Randy Rhoads that are from like the day before, which is kind of asinine. But then again, it's Cheap Channel. What do you expect? They're still in the fractions, by the way. Sadly, I find myself listening to you less and less lately, not on purpose, but just because, one, being a political junkie, I listen mostly to Air America now. How sad. Although Al Franken is very, very impressive and a very tremendous humorist. And two, I rarely tune into 560 anymore now that insipid, boring what's-his-name is on for so long in the morning. He's not talking about the Sternmeister, is he? It says, how the hell does he make a living with a moronic show like that? Well, Larry, watch the Lebanon. That's all I can tell you. We're doing the best we can. John faxes and says, they found some underwear in a garbage can behind the convention center on the beach yesterday. It had the presidential seal on it and stains all over. Well, I'm sorry, Joyce. We probably shouldn't have delved too deeply into that. Mike in Miami says, I was a registered Republican, but after last night's debate, all of that changed effective immediately. I didn't vote for Bush last time, and he sure as hell isn't getting my vote this time. To hell with that monkey. I'm sorry, smirking chimp. Kerry's the man for the job. Okay, nice going. You go, Mike. Brad says, boy, they're just faxes up the ass here, aren't there?
Well, you don't have to put them there.
Well, it's a place to store them for a while. Brad says you should watch C-SPAN. I don't get C-SPAN here in Toronto, so I can't watch it even if I wanted to. And secondly, I don't want to get C-SPAN is not for me. You know, the only show that I ever watched on C-SPAN that I really liked?
I give up.
On the weekends, they have that, where they have different authors on. And a couple of times I caught some lengthy interviews with Gore Vidal on there. There were, of course, you know, he's great. And that's good. That's some good stuff. But that's like once every 5 years they have something worthwhile watching. It's kind of like PBS. Although I will say Jim Laird did a pretty good job. I did not like, even as much as I despise the Bushmeister, I didn't like the fact that there toward the end, when Kerry, he didn't use the liar word, but something like that, questioned the integrity, and he was prodding Bush a little bit to try to see if he could raise his dander, and it was very obvious, and I think it was totally inappropriate. And then he made the opening there, and Bush said, I'm a very calm guy, huh? And which is good. I'll give him credit for that. He didn't get sucked into that. Because that's the one thing they were looking for, is that he is temperamental. Like the time he walked off the stage in the press conference, how come they're not using that clip?
How come who's not using it? The media?
The Democrats or some of these other, all these 80 million committees that are running these spots. I mean, that would be so funny. This is leadership, a man who crumbles because he gets a question he doesn't like at a press conference and sulks and walks off the stage? My God. But anyway, Brad says you should watch CNN after the debates when they take callers. Talk about morons. They make your callers look like Robert Goddard. Most Bush supporters were women, and about 90% of them were fawning over him, saying how they trust him because he's a man of God and faith. And Brad says,
oh, my God.
Watch next time, Hot Comedy. I can't see it. I wouldn't watch it anyway. No thanks. I've seen that crap. I've seen when they take those insipid call-ins, all them rednecks from, the red states. Well, Jim, I think that Bush was just wonderful last night.
Abu Ghraib.
Excuse me, I'm picking the lights out of my daughter's hair right now, but I thought he was really good. Neil, I don't know who won the NFL championship game some 50 years ago, 73-0. Once upon a time, I did know that. I know that Jacksonville beat the Dolphins in a playoff game, 67-0. Wasn't that the score, Josh, not too long ago?
Nah.
Wasn't?
Sorry.
Oh, what was it?
What was the score then?
I don't remember. It wasn't that, though.
You know, you've already dug a hole halfway to China, and I think you're going to wake up in the morning with rice on your face. Maybe shrimp fried rice. But you check that for me. What was it? Somebody will tell us. It was 67 or something. It may have been 67.3. I think it was 67 a zip. Why are you saying no?
That's not his recollection.
Well, you're full of it. Anyway, this debate, in quotes, set the new world record for humiliation. Have you ever seen a cat playing with a mouse by tossing it in the air before devouring it? Yeah, they like push it around with their paws, you know. It says, I kept waiting for Bush to pretend to pass out and fall on the floor like a Saturday Night Live bit. By the way, a $5 battery-operated watch at Target keeps better time than any designer watch. Well, you probably got a good point there. No, my watch keeps great time, and I'm not complaining about it. George was the one who said, oh, don't automatically change the date.
You were the one that said that.
Well, no, I just mentioned that, and then you were questioning, like, oh, it must be a crappy watch. It's a fine.
Crappy.
I love Seiko watches.
Analog.
It's a, it's not. No, it's not a digital.
Not Digiton.
Well,
right.
why would you want a digital watch?
Because that's what most are anymore, and because they
get out of here.
Automatically.
When's the last time you went to a department store and looked at a watch department? You're telling me that most watches are digital now? You're dreaming.
I guess it's about half and half, depending on how fancy you're going.
The only watches that are digital are those cheap, like for little kid watches
that adjust the date automatically.
Well, guess what? I know what date it is. In fact, when I asked you about Tuesday the 5th, you said, yeah, the 4th. So you figure it out. Black voters fear new plot to steal votes in Florida, writes David Rennie in Tampa for the News Telegraph in England. How come the good stories are always in the UK? They got so many constipated fools over there, and the Prime Minister's heart vanished. And then, of course, they got all that problem with the Queen. And poor Prince Harry, he's only making a few pounds in the military. Poor Prince Harry. Oh, God, it's so constipated, it's so pathetic, you silly-ass Brits. I blame them for all of America's problems. Roosevelt Lawrence cannot prove there's a Republican conspiracy to steal black and minority votes in Florida, but that is what he suspects, and his cynicism is shared by huge numbers of his fellow Floridians, from Democrats to moderate Republicans. The presidential election is just a month away, just as in 2000 when 537 votes decided the issue. Florida is mired in accusations of dirty tricks, incompetence, and election fraud. Mr. Lawrence, a Baptist deacon and grandfather from a poor black district in Tampa, has cause to be suspicious. Shortly before the 2000 election, he was told he had no legal right to vote. He was a felon, a serious criminal who had never received clemency from the state. The letter was wrong, as it was for thousands who were wrongly placed in the 2000 voter purge list. Many had already received clemency. Others were victims of mistaken identity, who just happened to be black, by the way. Mr. Lawrence was one of tens of thousands struck off voter rolls in 2000, accused of being ex-convicts and convicted felons. A Florida law dating from the slave era bans those convicted of a felony from voting unless granted clemency by the governor, fat-ass Jeb Bush, who just happens to be the president's brother. Mr. Lawrence, a former civil rights worker, spent months scouring court records back to '62 before proving his right to vote. You just can't imagine how many people didn't take the time I did and just gave up, he said. I believe what happened last time was systematic. It ran through the governor right to the president. He said, I hope my vote will be counted this time. The state's Republican governor, the state's government, led by Governor Jeb Bush, the president's brother, has said it's working to control voter fraud. Anybody buying it?
No.
Anybody expecting it?
No.
Anybody believing it?
No.
No. It was seen by Democrats and many blacks as crude intimidation. They pointed to incidents such as fraud investigations that resulted in armed policemen being sent to question 50 elderly women in their Orlando homes after they applied for absentee ballots. Grave concerns have been expressed about new electronic voting machines after Florida officials declined to purchase printers that would print a backup paper receipt. That's still in limbo, by the way, and thank God for Robert Wexler.
You're listening to Neil Rogers on 560 QAM.
Hello, this is Albert Kaida from Taliban Records inviting you American infidel to buy latest Cat Stevens collection.
You know Muhammad is right. Let's take your head off your body. Got a machete with a real sharp blade. How I wish I had an American hostage. Make those infidels pay.
Also including this classic.
I was on an airplane and suddenly was detained. They're mad 'cause I converted and wear a towel on my head. I'm being followed by an F-16. What do they want with me?
The money from your purchase does not go to fund terrorism, really.
It's not time to get off the plane. Just relax and take it easy. You're just dumb, that's your fault. It wouldn't happen if I were a Jew. Fine dark skin and a rag if you want a detainee.
Another variation on a classic.
I ask myself every day which American should pay. Tell me, who would Muhammad slay? I'm cutting through the neck of a woman. She lifted her veil and exposed herself.
So buy new Cat Stevens collection today for $19.95. Or you can pay with Visa, MasterCard, or weapons of mass destruction.
Oh, I just love that. It's 1:32, 28 till 2 at 560 WQM. Mad Dog at 2. We apologize because Hank is in the horse race thing in New York, so we got the big Lummox at 4. And then you got Marlins on deck at 6:30. Marlins at the Phillies as they wind down the season, wind down the stem on the watch. And trying to finish second as opposed to third, which they can do, I guess. Eddie K after the baseball game. That's the schedule. And then if you look at that thing on the weekend, man, we got games up the ass this weekend. Can you believe that?
Again with that.
Hurricanes playing Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, which is like another little girls' school, and you got Marlins again, and then of course the Dolphins on Sunday. The Dolphins to play the Jets at PP Park. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, pressure packed. But we got Jay Fiedler starting. Is that going to help?
No.
That'll do it.
Hey, by the way, that was 62-7 that score.
Oh, excuse me. QAM, hello.
Hey, I'm getting tired. I don't care who won the debate, Kerry or Bush. All I care about is my Jets kicking the crap out of the Finns Sunday.
Yeah, okay, great. Call up one of the sports shows, you idiot. That was either a Mark the Jets fan or...
His Jets?
Yeah, his Jets. His Jets. What the hell have they won since 69? Anything we can think of?
No, my Jets can beat his
Squats.
Jets.
Your Jets. Oh, how very sad. And you know something? That's a typical sports nerd attitude. He can't be bothered with stupid things like politics and with the election and stuff like that, even while innocent people are dying all around him. I wonder if they would send his kid off to die in Iraq if he'd be talking the same crap, the same bull crap, okay?
Yes,
you can take your Jets, your Jets, and shove them right up your butt. And if you got any left over, shove them up Mo's butt. He ain't got much going on these days. He's had kind of a reprieve lately. WQAM, hello. QAM, hello. Hello.
Boricua Smurfit.
WQAM, hello.
Ricans.
Yeah.
Cubans. Yes, sir.
He said Boricua.
Yeah.
The WQAM?
Yes, sir. Speaking.
Who's this?
World famous Neil Rogers show speaking.
Oh, is this Neil?
Yes, it is.
I just want to register my vote for Kerry, and then did you ever see the likeness of Alfred E. Newman when Mr. Bush smiles on a certain camera
That's
angle?
original, Pally. Okay, thanks. I bet you've been thinking that one up all day long, you know? How many times did I mention Alfred E. Newman today?
About 30, man.
But that's okay. This guy probably sleeps in late.
For 4 years now, anyway.
Well, no, he's probably out till 5, 6 in the morning checking out them dumpsters for any leftovers. 5670560, pound 560 on the, so C-SPAN calls are bad, on the Verizon and Singular Wireless lines. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil, I watched the debate last night. I thought they both did pretty good, but I think everybody agrees that Kerry won. But you've been having a question lately about how the Republicans are going to steal the election.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you how, because I remember how they did it 4 years ago.
Okay.
And maybe you don't remember, but the Supreme Court said that American citizens have no right to vote for president, and the state legislature has plenary power, absolute power to send up whatever electors they want, whenever they want to. And I have no doubt that our scumbag Republican state legislature is going to meet right after the election. They're going to say, oh, the election wasn't that good. We're worried about the computers. Maybe there was errors. Maybe there was people out there who weren't voting because of the hurricane.
Right.
And we're going to send up our own electors. And they did it before, and they're going to do it again. And the Supreme Court said it's just okay with them. So I'm worried about that. And that's something that people still don't know about and don't talk about.
Did you say do it again?
Yeah, they did it in 2000.
Your vote's automatically calculated by computers at the GOP. Manipulated this time. Don't let the fascist neocons screw us again. The brother governor that's running Florida, no doubt's got another plan to get your vote from this time. Don't let the fascist neocons screw us again. Let us in, plus my staffers in, cleans my face, demand us to get in. Let us in, we don't live here. Let us in, clean white preppy men. Then goes triangle Bush wins, you're the good. And Coulter snuffles my loins with Jews kill Christ.
Absolutely.
The Jews kill Christ. Bush is appointed by God. Back, we can see right. If you're darker than brown, then your vote will get thrown out. Round back, except for hard votes, really closet bags. Will it won't matter who or what you vote like? It's rigged for Bush too. Win it a landslide this time. Don't let the fascist neocons screw us again. Just like Jefferson, needs white faces, the man gets it again.
You're listening to Neil Rogers exclusively on 560 QAM.
Oh my God.
Of the Passion of the Christ comes Passion of the Christ on Ice. All the violence of the movie you loved, but with a triple axle crucifixion. See columns of graceful Roman soldiers whipping and weaving around a magnificent Messiah. New York Times reports these skaters really nailed this one. And USA Today says, Jumping Jesus, Christ on Ice is cold-blooded fun. Bring the kids to witness and Savior each moment they cross. The grace, the glory, and the suffering of Christ on Ice. Audience members may experience nausea, dizziness, death, or resurrection.
I guess Kerry really nailed it last night, huh? 142 at 560 WQM. Don't forget QAM tonight, 7 to 9 p.m. the Durrell Ale House. Prices, specials on Coors Light. And then tomorrow, 11 to 1. 11 a.m. till 1 in the p.m. George will be there. And George has mentioned to me off the air that he really misses some of his favorite people. He wonders where the hell they disappeared. The guy with the eyes. The guy with a fanny, fag fag. Don't you want to see those people?
Yeah, and with the white top.
And what about, what's his name? Jack with the hands.
Oh, yeah, he can come by if he finds a place.
The old mechanic guy, or whatever the hell he does with those goofy hands. Oh, be sure and tell him off that thing has not arrived and is probably not going to arrive because DHL Express up here is all screwed up.
We already chatted. He already chatted with them, and they're going to ship UPS from now on.
Oh, are you serious?
I'm serial.
Oh, are you sure? Excellent. UPS is, what an improvement. And FedEx, forget about that. It'll be there like in 5 minutes. Anyway, I already did that. Tomorrow, 11 to 1, George at Bill Seidel's Mitsubishi and Davy at 5395 South University Drive. Stop by to win some really embarrassing prizes. In fact, if you haven't been to any of our appearances, you'll just laugh your ass off when you see the kind of crap we're trying to put on. In fact, you'd probably throw it back at George, but enjoy some free food from Atlantic City Subs, which is excellent stuff. Now, some of those fat-filled sandwiches I used to enjoy.
Indeed.
In fact, you still got that letter back up there on the board?
Which one?
The one about the greasy, fat-filled sandwich.
Oh, yeah.
Don't remember that one? The P.D. Lenny letter.
Yeah.
You know something? He's starting to look pretty good now.
It's all relative.
Yeah. We don't want to talk about this. What is that you're doing there?
Oh, it's a staple remover. I'm just really fascinated by the sound it's making right now.
Well, don't be making no sounds that Joyce could misinterpret. No, we can't make that sound. I'm telling you right now. New York Times editorial today about the debates. What do they got to say? Well, it's short and right to the point. The first debate. If Americans who tuned in last night's presidential debate were waiting for one of the candidates to catch each other in a fatal error or leave him stammering, the event was obviously a draw. But if the question was whether Senator John Kerry would appear presidential, whether he could present his positions clearly and succinctly, and keep President Bush on the defensive when it came to the critical issue of Iraq, Mr. Kerry delivered the goods. George W. Bush is famous for fierce discipline when it comes to sticking to a carefully honed, simple message. Last night, he reiterated this campaign message once again, that the world is safer without Saddam Hussein and that things are, on the whole, going well in Iraq. The confidence with which Mr. Bush has kept hammering home these points has clearly had an effect in the polls, encouraging wavering voters to believe that the president is the one who can best lead the country out of the morass he created. But last night, Mr. Bush sounded less convincing when he had to make his case in the face of Mr. Kerry's withering criticism, especially his repeated insistence that the invasion had diverted attention from the true center of the war on terror in Afghanistan. Mr. Kerry found the most effective line of argument when he told the audience that Iraq was not even close to the center of the war on terror and that the president had rushed the war in Iraq without a plan to win the peace. It is the strongest and most sensible critique of the administration's actions. Of course, it left Mr. Kerry open to rejoinders by Mr. Bush that Kerry had sounded far more warlike about Iraq in his pre-campaign persona. That's a fair comment, and one the senator simply has to live with in this campaign. As the politics changed, his position changed, Mr. Bush said. But when Mr. Bush jabbed at the senator with a reminder about his infamous comment on voting for a war appropriation before he voted against it, Mr. Kerry had finally found an effective answer. While saying he had made a mistake in the way he had expressed himself, the senator added, but the president made a mistake in invading Iraq, which is worse. Both men made errors that appeared to be mainly a matter of misspeaking under the pressure of the moment, but Mr. Kerry scored an important point when the president made a more significant slip and talked about the need to go to war because the enemy attacked us. The person who sent planes smashing into the World Trade Center and the Pentagon, Mr. Kerry reminded the audience, was Osama bin Laden, who was operating from Afghanistan, not Saddam Hussein in Iraq. Meanwhile, Mr. Bush, whose body and facial language sometimes seemed downright petulant, insisted again and again that by criticizing the way the war is being run, Mr. Kerry was sending mixed signals that threatened the success of the effort. Mixed messages.
Careful how you say that.
Okay. Before last night's debate, we worried that the long list of rules insisted on by both camps would create a stilted exchange of packaged sound bites, but this campaign was starved for real discussion and substance. Even a format controlled by handlers and spin doctors seemed like a breath of fresh air, says the New York Times. And you know what? They're right. They're right. There actually was like an exchange there last night, and Jim Lehrer handled it pretty good. And when they wanted to like expound a little bit and expand, he let them do that and gave each another 30 seconds. I would say like
about 30 minutes.
Right, and they both pretty much stuck to the. It was kind of interesting seeing the. I don't know if you did, and I'm sure most people did, watching the lights. Do you think there was a subliminal message there?
No, I didn't notice.
No, you didn't watch the green light.
Oh, those green lights. Yeah. No, I watched.
I think that the Republicans insisted on that because it's a little message about like the war on terror, right?
I saw that movie.
Yellow light, green light, purple light.
Oh my God!
Every day the news is warning we have a yellow light. That must mean they have something to hide. That's how they manipulate headlines. What's green mean? Any kind of subterfuge is useful, like a yellow light. Designed by the corporate media right, and that's why we have a yellow light. Can't explain the meaning of what these lights do. So Congress sits at his desk with a set of blow pens and noodles cartoons. Anytime they want to confuse the news, they have a yellow light. But that means something they can't define. That's why we have a yellow light, a big light. Anytime they want to confuse the news, they have a yellow light. What's that mean? Something they can.
The Howard Stern Show. Neil Rogers, mornings and midday. And sports around the clock. 560 QAM.
Yeah. And?
America, fucking blow!
What do you think tribal sovereignty means in the 21st century, and how do we resolve conflicts between tribes and the federal and state governments?
Yeah. Tribal sovereignty means that it's sovereign. You've been given sovereignty, and you're viewed as a sovereign entity.
Okay.
And therefore, the relationship between the federal government and tribes is one between sovereign entities.
Oh my God. Bye bye, tell me bye bye. Bye bye, tell me bye bye. Now you're the voice of the Satan and the light for as long as the fans can stand ya. No one around here is gonna miss you.
If you won $56,000, what would you do with it? Go to Vegas and bet it all on the Dolphins to win the Super Bowl?
Give me $56,000 on the Dolphins to win it all.
Purchase a lifetime supply of Viagra. Take the beast to an all-you-can-eat buffet.
Well, QAM and AOL for broadband are giving you that chance. It's the $56,000 home run contest. If a Florida Marlins player hits a home run through the QAM target in left field in the bottom half of the fifth inning, one lucky winner will walk away with $56,000. The home run has to be on the fly. To register, just log on to WQAM.com, then listen to the game. Put $56,000 in your hand. From AOL for broadband and Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Proud of it. The fax machine screwed up. Whatever happened with the audio vault getting fixed finally, thank goodness.
Eventually it came back.
It's just kind of like, when it just took a rest, okay? We all could use a good rest, right?
Yes, that's why they have room for it.
In fact, I think Bush could use a rest for like about 20 years, maybe even...
About 30, man.
Yeah, like starting at the end of the, like about 20th of January would be good. Or sooner if he wants. Here's our take. What's your take on the presidential debate last night? See, don't you feel like a little bit better? I mean, a debate, and they keep pointing out, well, Gore won the first debate. He lost the election supposedly, although we know he won. And Mondale won the first debate against Reagan, so they say. And then Reagan came out for the second debate and didn't fall down and drool too much. And they said, oh, he's still alive. He won. Right?
Right.
Although I do like the part of the Walter Mondale with the Where's the Beef? That was when the Clara Peller spots were running for Wendy's. And, of course, how do I know that? Because they had the Dave Thomas biography on the other night. You remember those spots? Clara Peller,
yes,
Where's the Beef?
Of course, who doesn't?
Those were great. Oh, they just showed a bunch of Europeans on CNN. They said, to hell with Bush. Except for one Spanish guy, but you know them.
Oh, yeah.
Probably Castilian. At any rate, here's the deal. What's your take on the presidential debate? 1,346 votes we got. We should have had over 2,000. If it weren't for Eric hanging around all them new totem stores all night eating the pickled eggs and sausages. 1346. Kerry won big. 858. 63.7% of this astute crowd. Kerry won it by a bit. 156. 11.5%. The format made it useless. 82. I didn't watch 77, which is less than 6%. They both sucked. 47. Bush won big. 46. 3.4%. As they say in China, you should live so long. A draw, 29. I don't give a Schmidt, 28. And Bush by a little bit, by a scooch, 23. So let's add those Bush won bigger a little bit, 5.1%, and Kerry, 75.2%. So 75.2 to 5.2. See?
I see it.
It's only a 74-point difference. What's the big tinnis with that? So like I said, things are looking up, baby. Oh! Finally got that paycheck 6 days late yesterday. Oh! Better late than never. We got George with that big appearance tomorrow, right?
Right.
Josh corrected me on that score, so that kind of erased some of the embarrassment factor. There wasn't 63-0. It was 62-7 in that playoff game against Jacksonville a few years ago.
Well, you said 67, though.
Oh, and that's even worse.
Well, I got it correct.
Well, let's see. So I said 67. So wait a minute. I had two numbers right.
That's close enough.
It was 62-7. So I had three numbers right. Because I know I would have gotten the part right. In fact, I had three numbers right. This is like something on The Price is Right. Does he have three numbers right? Does he have the fourth number right? Maybe I'll win the car. Andrew Woodcock, can I say that? Political correspondent for the Brit Independent, says war plan months before the vote. Those poor Brits, man. First they got Tony Blair in there. They had to stick that tube up through his groin into his heart, where his heart used to be. It says Britain was involved in planning for war in Iraq for at least 9 months before MPs approved military action, according to a document apparently leaked from the Pentagon. When in doubt, they leaked it out. Kind of like Josh Beckett. Details from the secret briefing paper published in London's Evening Standard suggest that military commanders took part in a war planning conference with U.S. counterparts as early as June 2002. You got that?
Got it.
At the time, Prime Minister Tony Blair was insisting that no decisions had been taken on military action. The leak on the eve of a crucial debate on Iraq at Labour's conference in Brighton will fuel speculation that Mr. Blair agreed in principle to join the U.S. in military action at his April 2002 summit at President George Bush's ranch in Crawford, Texas, where a lot of evildoers have been hanging out lately, including Prince Bandar Bush, something the Prime Minister has always denied. Deny rhymes with lie. But Downing Street insisted that while planning for a range of contingencies in Iraq had taken place over the months before the war, the decision to join the U.S. in combat wasn't taken until after the Commons vote, March 18 of last year, 2003. The document sets out a chronology of events leading from the September 11th attacks on the U.S. in 2001 to the Iraq War and beyond. entitled Operation Iraqi Freedom Strategic Lessons Learned. It is classified secret, no foreign, meaning it's not to be released to foreign governments. According to Evening Standard correspondent Andrew Gilligan, it was prepared by the Pentagon for a presentation by U.S. Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld in August of last year. So in other words, he's a liar too. Isn't that great? Liars of a feather stuck together. Is basically the way it works. And you know something? Did we actually do a show here today or what?
It just flew right by, didn't it?
Do we have time for like one more real quick call? QAM, hello. Oh, wait, that's probably just as well. WQAM, hello.
Hello.
Oh, sorry, no time. Okay, the Mad Dog. Well, no, we didn't have time, did we?
Yeah.
I didn't want to do injustice to him. He might have had something really worthwhile to say. I didn't want to chop him off. Mad Dog's coming up next, and again, we apologize. The big at 4 this afternoon.
Bye. Neil Rogers and Sports around 11 o'clock. WQAM, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, boy, what's that in your mouth?
I don't know what it is, but it's moving.